MCG, both sides go to their respective goal ends. And it is a wonderful atmosphere here tonight. Friday night footy, qualifying final, a path straight through to the preliminary final, up for grabs. Chris Judd, Nathan Brown, what are we going to see tonight?
Well, I think there's going to be fireworks. I think it's going to be a much better contest than last night's game was. We've both spoken about how important that midfield battle is going to be, but I think it's going to be a relatively low-scoring game and a game of yardage, Nathan Brown.
Yeah, it is going to be a game of yardage. They play different styles of football. Geelong obviously play on a skinnier ground most of the time. Richmond like to use the width of this ground, but it's going to be the side that at the start of the game can keep their composure. These two sides wouldn't have played in front of 95,000 for a while. We know the Cats have played in premierships, so a few players will be used to it, but being able to handle the ball and control the footy early and being able to keep that in their hands and retain possession, that's the biggest thing in a game this size very early. You don't want to give up the footy easily, because easy goals in the early part of this game could set you on the back foot.
Trent Cotchin has made his way out into the middle with Joel Selwood. Here's the toss for the two captains.
It's the call. It's a head.
Joel Selwood has won with the toss, and the Cats will be kicking to the Ponsford stand end or the right of your radio dial. Bob Jane T-Mutts, and there's the dock.
Just a few spots of rain starting to fall, Howie, but we're hopeful there isn't too much around, because obviously these two teams play very exciting footy, so we don't want the rain to ruin the evening. Spot on, Nez. What do the Tigers do about Dangerfield and Selwood?
Well, I think they go head-to-head with Dangerfield. They haven't been running a tag as such. If they do run a tag, sometimes it's Sean Brick who can get off players and use the ball. So if they were going to put someone, I'd maybe go with Sean Brick to Dangerfield, but I'd be going head-to-head with them other than that.
Yeah, and I think you'd be looking to test Selwood out. He's had a layoff. We know he'll be a little bit sore, and I think you'll be testing him out the other way. And just so important to get the start right. You can't win the game in the first quarter of a final, but you can lose it. It's really important both sides settle well early.
What I'm going to ask, do they do the same thing with Harry Taylor that they did last time? Does Harry Taylor go hard after Rance? Does he do what he did last time? Is it achievable this time? It's going to be a great battle to see if that takes place.
He's lined up in the forward half of the ground, Brownie, and Alex Rance makes his way down to that part, the city end of the MCG, so you would think that they're going to go again. It was so successful last time. Juddy Harry Taylor did a number on Alex Rance.
Yeah, I think that midfield pressure is going to be the key to that for the Tigers, and making sure Taylor doesn't get the sort of service he did last time.
Have a listen to the roar. We're about to get this big final underway. It's the Tigers and the Cats. 95,000 plus at the MCG. The umpire throws it up. Then Curvis, Zach Smith. Coming off the back end was Butler, and he hacks it to the forward 50. Tui got rid of his man pretty easily down there. Townsend it was. Now Martin slaps it to Lambert. Dumps it inside forward 50. Opportunity for the Richmond forward line. Revolt down there. Lonergan tackled strongly. Stewart comes in. Kept it in momentarily. About 5 metres out from the Tiger goal. Confined situation. Hughes tries to hack it out. In came Parfitt off his hands. Martin picked it up. Tried to not argue on Menegola. Castagna. McIntosh upended. Through came Duncan. And what a hectic start to this game. Boundary thrown 60 out from the Tiger goal.
Real hectic start, that one too. A lot of players had to keep their head over the footy, take it first grab. They did. There was big tackles late. It was a great first minute.
So the ball about 70 around from the Tigers' goals in front of an enormous crowd at the MCG. Real hot footy early, as you'd imagine. There's a free kick. It's going against the Tigers. And just hear those boos. A big Tiger crowd in.
Both clubs playing with it loose behind the footy at the moment. Blustone is the loose behind the ball for Richmond, and for the Cats it's Stewart behind the footy.
So the free kick was awarded to Selwood, who immediately went short to Mitch Duncan, who goes one further down the line to Tommy Hawkins, who's been playing far and wide recently.
Very short looking for, I thought it was Duncan, but in came Motlop over to Duncan. We're on centre wing, right in front of Nez in the dock. Brilliant effort defensively. Prestia got the smother on, and over for a boundary thrown. Slightly attacking half of the wing for the Cats. Played a minute 41 in this game so far.
Looks like the two captains, Cotchin and Selwood, are going to each other as well. So Cotchin will be very keen to atone for his last finals performance.
So red hot, as you would expect. Big final, huge crowd, perfect night at the MCG. Nankervis and Smith slapped down to Cotchin, tackled well by Selwood. That was Joel Selwood. Prestia slapped it forward. Intelligent knock on to Rioli. He tried to Kevin Barnett, got it to himself, Rioli, then couldn't quite pick it up. In came Duncan. Caddy back in the side, picked it up. Cleanly tried to hand it off to Rewalt. Lonergan chipped in. We're 45 out from the Tiger goal. Guthrie got back there. That was Cam Guthrie to Lonergan. Dumps it down the line. The mark's been taken nicely by Asprey.
Goes immediately into the middle of the ground. Open up a little bit for the Tigers. Vlosten through the middle of the MCG. Dumps it long. It'll land 30 from home. Fish from the catch player. Hacked off the ground. I reckon it's a goal by the man that's been kicking him lately, Townsend. It is. This man's had a remarkable last few weeks, and he starts the Tiger Army. An early goal to Richmond, 1 straight 6, Geelong yet to score on your Triple M Red Dead Lending scoreboard.
Well, the thing I've noticed early, Juddy, and you talked about meterage, and every time Richmond get a ball, which is a half footy at the moment, almost you can't take it fully in your hands, they're fisting it on. Almost takes me back to Brisbane Lions, the way they played when they won those first 3 premierships. Anytime there's any doubt, they're actually fisting the ball forward, and all players are running onto it. It looks like a game plan for me tonight that they've tried to stick to, but that was a great goal off the ground.
What about Jacob Townsend? Last 2 weeks he's kicked 11 goals. Hadn't been cited prior to that. And now he kicks the first one of this big final. A bit of light rain falling at the moment. We'll check in with Nez shortly. The Tigers go forward again. Colin Jasny under some pressure from Grigg. In comes the cavalry for the Tigers. Fires Stewart. He's wrapped up. It was Tui. In fact, Cochin got him cold holding the footy. Well done, the skipper. He gets it moving quickly. Cochin spearing kick inside 50. McIntosh front and centre. Well done, Lambert. Oh, Rewalt a little fumble. Jack picks it up. Snaps it round the corner. Tiger fans are up. No. Just drifted late. And through for a minor score. 1-1-7. That's the Tigers Triple M Red Z Lending scoreboard. Cats hit the score.
We saw that entry from Cochin, 70 out, straight in. Moments before we saw Nick Lost in similar position, went long, deep. They're just going to get it deep inside their forward 50 when they can.
Stewart pumps it out from defence. Harry Taylor towards Selwood. Might have got one in the back. Umpire says play on. Rance does well in the middle of the ground. Contested ball. Martin bashes his way through 50. Now Dangerfield to stars the competition. Big tackle applied. Martin tries to hack it off the ground. It's 30 out from the Richmond goals. Gives it to Nan Curvis. Contested ball.
Yeah, in comes Rioli. Hot-footed, he won. 30 out. Townsend kicked the first goal. He's a hard nut, that young man. I've heard him describe Juddy and Brownie as the toughest footballer that many a expert has seen, Jacob Townsend.
I heard Germ say that, gave him that sort of rap. So, yeah.
Kevin Sheedy said he's the hardest player that he's ever seen play the game, Jacob Townsend. It's a pretty big call. Here comes Dangerfield at half-back, bursting away. He's got the one-on-one forward. It was Taylor and Rance. And Rance beat him hands down. Big contested mark from Rance.
Well, he saved a goal because they were out there in the catch. Rance immediately dumps it to the outer wing. Picked up by McIntosh. Now Butler. The Tigers have got all the footy early. Dances, dives. Butler now goes inside 50. All the way to Lonergan, and it is just a cauldron of noise at the moment, the MCG.
6 inside 50s to nothing so far.
Pretty open forward line, though, for the Cats, if they can get it down there. Out the back, Harry Taylor trying to put some down into the minor Rants. They come back into the corridor, and the Tigers are there. Nice start here for Richmond. Chopped off by Prestia. Ellis has got Rewalt out. Rewalt's got some space. 60 from home. Dusty's at full forward. He finds Martin. Decides to kick it around the corner. And couldn't bend it back enough, Dusty. And another minor score. So all the scoring, Richmond 1-2-8. Cats yet to score on the Triple M Red Z Lending scoreboard.
Triple M Bosch Tool stats too.
Yeah, time in the forward half. 83% of the Tigers dominating the contested ball. 14-7.
So the Tigers have settled early. If you're just joining us, it is a parochial Richmond crowd. The Cats were booed as they came onto the MCG. Ball into the middle of the ground, really strong mark taken by the Brownlow medalist Dangerfield. Defensive side of the square, plays on by hand. This is better from the Cats. They dump it forward inside 50. Rance competes, comes to Parsons, gives a little handball to Murdoch. He's going to have the first shot for the Cats, and he sprays it way out on the full. Tiger fans love it. Geelong yet to score. Richmond 1-2-8 on the Triple M Red Z Lending scoreboard. Red Z Lending, solutions for the self-employed.
What about the Tiger Army? Anytime the Cats make a mistake or something positive happens for Richmond, you can just hear the electricity of the noise. That one out of bounds on the full, so Asprey alongside the right-hand behind post. He'll kick this one long and high down the line. Dangerfield launched himself, no regard for his own safety. Selwood laid a really good tackle on Basher Hooley. And the umpire says, give it to me. And that will be thrown up 65 metres out from the Cats' goal.
We talk about Selwood's courage a lot, but you look at Paddy Dangerfield, the way he's thrown himself at those last two marking contests, and he's not very far behind Joel at all either.
And Curvis does well, but now Smith picks it up at ground level. He's caught. He's got to be gone. Umpire pays the free kick, holding the ball. Really good tackle by the Tigers. I think it was Jack Graham. He's a big lump of a lad, and he's got the ball across half-back.
Made 11 tackles on debut, Jack Graham. Equal most of any player ever. And he's nailed a perfect one there. Kicks this one down the line. Rewalt has infringed. Zach Smith, the ruckman, gets it moving quickly. On centre wing, Members side. Henderson takes a bounce now. 1-on-1. Taylor and Rance. Rance locked him up. Ball comes out the back. Some pressure on the defenders now. Flostone, Rance managed to secure the footy. Kicks it down the corridor. Went through the legs of Castagna. In comes Tui, the Irishman. Gets it back to Mackie. Mackie dumps a long kick inside forward 50. Harry Taylor. Second attempt, won the footy to Dangerfield. Left foot snap from Danger. Way across the face. Just snuck in for a minor score. It's the Cats' first score. Danger gets up with a bit of a limp. We might check in with the doc on that one shortly. But 1-2-8 Richmond, one behind the Cats. Triple M Red Z leading scoreboard.
The thing I noticed about Harry Taylor's first contest then with Rance, as it goes out of bounds, was the fact that he could have let up at Lachie Henderson on that occasion, but chose to stay planted with his feet. He obviously thinks he can beat Rance in a one-on-one. Doesn't want to get on the lead where Rance can use his speed.
Rance has started pretty well, though, on a couple of important contests. One in the air, one on ground level. Now the ball, 60 out from the Cats' goals. Toss back in. They've just steadied the last couple of moments, the Cats, as you'd expect. Nankervis immediately caught. Now Duncan dancing. Turning one way or the other. Parfitt gets off a quick handball. Ball 45 out from the Cats' goals. Blitzars applies the tackle. It'll be tossed up as we go down to Bob Jane T-Marts. And there's the doc.
Yeah, Danger just injured that right ankle. Turned inwards. Put a bit of stress on that medial ligament. He's moving fine now, Howie. He should be fine.
Yep, good picture of that on the Triple M Chemist Warehouse replay screen, Howie, as Doc clearly pointed out. An inward ankle roll, but the Doc's fine. Well, the Doc's definitely fine. He's saying Danger's fine as well. As Hawkins sock it off the ground out of bounds on the full. Asprey now clearing defensive 50. It was a strange looking kick, but it was effective. It found Edwards to Greg, who's taken a really aggressive stance, kicked it across the face, and a big mark. McIntosh just upended Parsons, did him cold, kicked it down the wing. Not a great ball. And Henderson got back and took the mark. Really good effort across half-back for the Cats. Lachie Henderson's got it.
Southern stand side. On the half-back flank. Geelong one behind, Richmond 1-8. Townsend, the only goal kicker in the match so far. The Cats drive it down the line and eventually goes across the boundary line. There's a free kick though. It might be for Rance in the back on the Triple M Chemist Warehouse replay screen. So Alex Rance will take possession, defensive side of the wing, outer side of the ground.
Looks inboard, Rance. Cats have got a lot of numbers there, so long down the line is the option. He'll get it to half forward. Tui gave a good contest, brilliantly taken McIntosh front and centre. Oh, Prestia went without the footy. Zach Guthrie got back involved. Ball at half back for the Cats. Underground handball from Tui. Chopped off by McIntosh. Tiger Army wanted high. They thought they got him round the neck. Nothing doing. And it was Duncan who was the tackler. Off hands, boundary thrown. 60 out from the Tiger goal. Narrowly Meadows down there for Bob Jane.
It's absolutely packed, boys, and I'd go so far as to say this is a better atmosphere than a grand final, because obviously on grand final day there's plenty of impartial supporters. Here it is all yellow and black and a few blue and white hoops.
Yeah, it's a noisy crowd. Bob Jane T-Marts, the tyre and wheel specialist, and you can just tell by the roars of the crowd or the boos which way the free kick's going. This one's going against Prestia, and it's a free kick to Scotty Selwood, who got one a little bit high on the Triple M Chemist Warehouse replay. Dumps it down the line. Dangerfield, 2.
4 touches, Bosch Tools.
Starting to get into his work nicely. The Brownlow medalist, one further down the line. Rance again does well on Harry Taylor. Now Harry applies the tackle. Needs to get rid of it here, Alex Rance. He's done for holding the ball. He's holding his head. I don't know whether he copped one or he's disappointed, but Rance is in trouble.
Looks like he might have a gash in his head, Howie. Just checking the Triple M Chemist Warehouse replay there. Yeah, he's coming off with a blood rule, I think.
He's got one on the nose, I reckon, Juddy.
I think it's at the top of the head, isn't it? Yeah.
There's a heap of blood pouring out of Alex Rance's head either way.
Must have been a knee when he went in and got Harry Taylor's knee. Just clipped him on the way through. Triple M Chemist Warehouse replay screen now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right knee of Harry Taylor got on the top of Rance's head.
In fairness to the umpire, he's led with his head there. So it's the right call not to give away a free kick. But obviously, Rance has copped a bit of a knock to the head.
So claret streaming down the forehead of Alex Rance, and a bit of a moment to take a breath in this game. It has been electric, red-hot footy to be won, and Alex Rance, he puts the towel on his head, and they make a number of changes. The footy will be thrown in on the southern stand wing side, 60 around from the Geelong goal. 8 points to 1-2-8 Richmond, one behind the Cats. What have you made, Juddy, of the first part of this game so far?
Oh, I think Damien Hardwick will be raptured with the way the Tigers have settled. They've been much more effective, but they're still only 7 points up.
And Curvis in front, stolen away by Scotty Selwood. Kicks it inside forward 50. Grimes now has got the job on Harry Taylor. Flostone wants to try and get it back out of the defensive 50. Clears the kick. Mitch Duncan, though, slides in and takes a good mark.
Malibu Mitch, out of sight of the MCG, his side trail, 8-1. He bangs it long inside 50. Hooley with the crumbs. Indiscriminate hand pass. Could come back the way of Zach Smith. The Tigers doing everything they can to repel. Now Edwards takes a bounce. Runs into a little bit of trouble. Doesn't know which way to go. Eventually goes to Castagna, who drops a hot footy in the middle of the ground. Again, just made a couple of errors there, the Tigers. Still an opportunity for a contested ball in the middle of the MCG.
Griggs slid in and did pretty well to make it a 50-50 ball. We're just the attacking half of the centre square. The Tigers about maybe 80 metres out, directly in front of their goal. Punt road in.
Tigers have been having someone leave the stoppage early a lot of the time, so just look out for them pushing a bolter out forward from these stoppages at times.
That's your C-Bus Super Special comments. Chris Judd and Nath Brown all over it before anyone else. Picked up by Cotchin. Inside 50 looking for Revolt. And he was outmarked on that occasion by Tom Lonergan, who gets it moving quickly to Tui.
Tui by hand to Mackie. 3-time premiership player. We've got a few of them, the Cats. Pumps it down the line towards Selwood. He can't get away from Martin, who drags him across the boundary line on the outer side.
Mitch Duncan, number 1 ranked player on the ground. 5 disposals, but also 4 tackles.
Impressive setup behind the footy then for the Geelong defenders. Obviously, they had Stewart behind the ball and also Lonergan. They just got one side of Jack Riewoldt each, and Jack Riewoldt had to take a huge mark to outmark them. Got over the back, and they were covered.
Brownie, just seeing Scotty Selwood and Dusty Martin head-to-head. Is that a bit of a lockdown role?
Well, Zach Guthrie started on him, but for the last 5 minutes, it looks like Scotty Selwood has gone to him.
He's won the free kick now on the wing, southern stand side. Scott Selwood kicks it to the edge of 50. Hawkins coming in from the side. Free kick. Which way is the umpire going to pay it? Well, you're about to tell pretty quickly when you hear the boos. That's a Geelong free kick. And Murdoch, I think, is going to be the recipient. Jordan Murdoch going back to fetch the footy. He's about 52 metres out, tucked up on the boundary line. And he's a pretty long kick, Jordan Murdoch.
Yeah, I think you could get the distance from there, Duke, but obviously right up on the boundary, it's a pretty tough angle.
Takes something special for Jordan Murdoch, averaging 17 disposals a game, career high in 2017. Launches a pretty ambitious attempt, as Juddy said. From a tight angle, he's kicked it out of bounds on the full. No score. It's the Tigers by 7 points. Nez, what can you tell us?
Alex Rance has been down in the rooms for the past 3 minutes, just getting the top of his head attended to. The medical staff have just come up from the rooms and given a thumbs up, so he should be back out shortly, boys.
Grimes from fullback to Castagna, who's dragged off the footy. Been a really, really hot footy, as you'd expect. Motlop, first time we've called his name, dances into trouble, then gets out of it. Now to Tui. Bangs it around the corner. It won't go far, though. Camden McIntosh marks on the defensive side in front of the great southern stand. Geelong 1 behind, Richmond 1-2-8. That's on your Triple M Red Z lending scoreboard.
McIntosh gets it moving quickly down the line. Hard work for Reebok. Couldn't complete the mark. In came Motlop. And he's drawn a free kick. It's against Townsend, I think, was a tackler. Just had hold of Motlop without possession. So Stevie Motlop at half-back. He too gets it moving. There's a lot of kicks going straight down the line, and Stevie Motlop, inexplicably with no pressure, has popped that out of bounds on the full.
The Tigers take possession and drive it long towards their attacking 50, but again, they've got the answers in the air across half-back, the Cats. Tui takes the mark, and And a couple of times in the last few minutes, Richmond have gone long, and Geelong have had the defenders with the aerial supremacy. Hand pass from Selwood back to Zach Tui. 45-metre ball down towards Taylor. Grimes has got the job with Rance off the ground. And then Grimes manages to see it across the boundary line. 40 round from the Cats goals.
Geelong holding up really well at half-back. Every time the ball goes in there at the moment, they're standing up, whether it's Zach Tui, whether it's Tom Stewart, whether it's Tommy Lonergan. The ball's just coming back with interest, and it can only happen for so long. They're going to get through eventually, Richmond, but right now Geelong's defensive end is holding up.
There's some good news down there at ground level I can see for the Tigers.
Alex Rance has just re-emerged from the rooms and is ready to come back on, so that is great news indeed.
Quick kick came out of the pack from Parsons and went through for a minor score for the Cats. That's their second score of the night. They're 2 behind. The Tigers are 1-2-8. They lead it by one straight kick on the Triple M Reds leading scoreboard.
The Tigers bringing out of their defensive area. Big fly from Mackie and Rioli, who's the type of player that you just imagine lighting up the MCG in finals time. You can't bring it to ground though. A lot of players leave the ground. Riola's one of them. The ball will be tossed up 80 out from the Cats goals. Cold night at the MCG. It's been pouring in Melbourne for a lot of the week. Hopefully the rain stays away as once again the ball goes across the boundary line. Just edged about a 10-metre move closer to the Cats goals. Chew.
Just the last 10 minutes, the time in the forward half. Geelong now tracking at 75% for Bosch Tools.
Next 2 man still yet to kick a goal in this game. The Tigers have got the only goal of the match. 6-point lead it is to Richmond. Crashing through. Took the ball beautifully. It was Townsend. Kicks it to half forward. Caddy competing down there, but as Brownie just told you, at half back, the Cats are in good shape. Stewart gets it short to Kolajasny. He steers it down to Cam Guthrie. At half forward, the runner Mackie. Sold into some trouble. Met full on. Mackie gone. Second, third tackle. Well, the handball didn't help him out.
Poor handball. He didn't have the vision to suit the other bloke. The Richmond defender was on the blind side and was just able to wrap him up too easily.
He's a tackling machine, this man, Jack Graham. He nailed another one.
Big, strong boy. And the Tigers dump it down towards Prestia, who can't take the mark, right in front of the interchange gates. It's the junior Guthrie trying to get his hands on the footy, but he'll be tossed up just a metre inside the boundary line as Bashahuli comes off. Geelong 2 behind, Richmond 1-2-8. We've seen both coaches on the Triple M Chemist Warehouse replay screen gesticulating. Celebrate finals footy with all big brand vitamins and cosmetics now at half price at Chemist Warehouse. TNC's applied, and there's a free kick going the way of the Cats.
Jack Smith, the ruckman, with Sean Grigg competing the ruck, and undersized gave away the free kick. Long down the line, Rance was in the way. It was the kick from Dangerfield. Rance couldn't keep it in. Boundary thrown 70 around from the Cats goal.
Really tough to get through at either end at the moment, Juddy, because when Geelong instigate the loose behind the footy, that means Richmond have a loose behind the footy, which at many times at the moment is either Asprey or Dylan Grimes. So very hard to get through. That means when you have the footy tonight, just need to use composure, some poise. Maybe there's an option that you don't think of. Just need to hold on to footy just that little bit longer to get that path through.
20 minutes gone in this big final at the MCG. Incredible crowd. Perfect night for footy. Tigers lead it by one straight kick. Ball on the wing. Comes out to Cam Guthrie. Taken away though by Cochin. Flicks it out now to Prestia. Tracking through the middle of the G. Good ball. And coming out it was Caddy. Spots Rewall on the edge of 50. Townsend gives a nice lead. Rewall wanted to go in that direction. Kicked it into Henderson on the mark. Now slaps it forward. Couldn't quite pick it up. Down there was Townsend. And he's been wrapped up in a Stewart tackle, but no prior opportunity. So the Tigers will get a look at a ball up just inside their forward 50. They lead it by 6 points with 21 gone first term.
Hit up pass from Prestia was the first time in quite a while we've seen the Tigers use the ball and not just bang it long down the line.
Cochin working hard inside 50s, caught a tackle from Dangerfield. The ball banging around between about 9 different players. Tigers ripped off the footy. Slide opportunity for Prestia. Hand passes it forward. The ball only 15 out from the Tigers' goals. Castagna's there, dangerous. Hughes can't get a handle on it, but a couple of his fellow defenders can, and eventually Stewart just bombs it out of his defensive 50, but it only goes as far as Broad.
So Nathan Broad, this is just his 10th game of AFL football. Strange sort of kick, hacks it across the face of goal. Oh, Caddy's taken a big contested mark. Oh, well done, Josh Caddy. Back into the side tonight. He's the only inclusion for the Tigers. Markov went out. He's played mainly forward, and that is a big, big grab.
It certainly was a big grab. It's just that nobody went with him. Everybody thought that the big fly was going to come from either Jack Rewalt or Grigg, who was coming in from the side. And I think they put all their eggs in the Rewalt basket. Didn't go when your opponent flies. Mackey was the culprit, needed to fly over the top.
6-7 from set shots this year. Josh Caddy's hit the post. He just stabbed at the ball a little bit, and it clipped the right-hand post about halfway up. 1-3-9 the Tigers, 2 behind the Cats. Triple M Reds leading scoreboard.
Tui to himself and full back. Plays on, gains 80 metres, does well. Ball feels to Dangerfield. Now Blitzarves moving around to Cam Guthrie. Goes down the line towards Parfitt. He's outnumbered by McIntosh. And Vlosten takes a good mark. Half back lines of both teams dominating at the moment. Vlosten goes short to Cam and McIntosh.
It's the ball, just the defensive part of the wing here on the members' side, right in front of where Nez and the Dockers station, and McIntosh down the line. We've seen a lot of this so far in the game. We'll just get Juddy's thoughts on that in a moment. Off hands, Prestia trying to keep it in. Guthrie did pretty well. He did keep it alive at half back. Back to Tui, on to Mackey, high up and under sort of kick. Basher Hawley stands under it. Parfitt ran into him, no free kick. Menengola shins it forward. Selwood direction. He slaps it over the boundary line. And he's been played deliberate, Joel Selwood. And don't the Tiger Army love it. So a Tiger free kick at half-back. Juddy, not a lot of change of direction kicks so far in this game. Why is that?
Look, we talk a lot about courage in football, and a lot of it relates to the physical contest as Joel Selwood just lays a smother and the ball goes out of bounds. But it's also having the courage to hit a risky kick in the middle of the ground when it's open. And we've seen a few times players haven't had the conviction to do that so far in today's game. Both sides are playing a loose behind the ball, so those options are available, but players need to back themselves in and have a crack at it.
Called Joel Selwood's name much, Brownie. I'm not sure if he's playing his usual role.
Just the 2 disposals so far.
As the ball's bundled across the boundary line, has he been spending a bit more time forward?
No, he's been playing mainly on the footy at the moment, Howie. He's up against Trent Cotchard for most part of it at the moment, so he's just trying to get near it. He's just gone inside forward 50 at the moment. Nathan Broad's picking him up.
So the ball will be tossed in. 80 metres out from the Cats goals, in front of the MCC members. I reckon they're in for a treat tonight. Low scoring, tough, hard contested finals footy. Richmond 1-3-9. Geelong 2 behinds. The ball by inches just moving inside 50. And again it goes out of bounds.
Big Zach Smith just starting to have an influence on the footy, throwing his body around. His tap work's been good, his follow-up work's been even better.
We'll get another look at it here, Brownie, because the boundary throw in the forward half of the ground. In fact, just on the edge of the forward 50 zone. It'll be thrown right in. And I think he's been on top, Zach Smith, so far. He slaps it back in the dangerous area. Edwards did really well. Or a little fumble from Prestia. Came off the shin of Blitzarves fortuitously to Caddy. Kicked down the line to Townsend. From behind, Henderson affected the spoil. Got it down to Lonergan, who chips a little one in the Dangerfield direction. Got bowled over by Cochin. Well played, the Richmond skipper. Well done, Dangerfield. Got back in. Fought hard for the footy. And eventually umpire is going to pick it up and he'll toss it up on the AFL logo here, centre wing members side of the MCG.
Zach Smith has had 12 hitouts to Nan Curvis's 5.
These two doing battle now, right on the AFL logo. Blitzarves trying to rip a couple of players away and get the footy out. Stymied at the moment. And the umpire, ball did not progress a metre or toss it up.
Just the combined kicking efficiency between these two sides tonight, tracking at 47% now. That's 19 below the league average.
Joel Selwood's just come back up onto the footy and send Dangerfield forward.
You can follow this game, hashtag AFL Cats Tigers. Nathan Brown, Chris Judd doing a stellar job on the Triple M C-Bus Super Special comments as it goes across the boundary line right in front of Nez and the Doc. Dusty Martin, what's he had on the Triple M Bosch Tool stat sheet?
5 disposals, but only 1 touch inside the last 20 minutes.
Geelong an extra number around this stoppage, but they have an extra number back too. They're all one-on-one inside Geelong's forward 50, so if they get this clearance, they look more likely to score than Richmond.
At the moment, Dusty Martin playing true full forward. Here's Grigg, stepped around a Selwood tackle. That's not easy to do for either brother. Kick to half forward, Castagna, Prestia, tried to knock in the Rewalt direction, giving chase is Mackey, picked up by Jack Rewalt, floats one across the face, and it lands in the lap of Dusty, who plays on, and unselfishly chips it to Caddy, 20 metres out, directly in front, and this is a big moment for Josh Caddy. He hit the post with his last shot. the chance to kick the second goal of the game for the Tigers.
And nothing Zach Tui could do there. Nathan Brown, his positioning was perfect. He was in the right spot for that kick coming in from Jack Rewalt, but it was just a mung floater, and fortuitously landed in Dusty's hands.
So Josh Caddy started his career with pick 7 at the Gold Coast Suns, spent some time at Geelong, and now kicks a big goal in the final for the Tigers. They've kicked the only 2 in the opening quarter. They lead at 2-3-15. The Cats 2 behinds, 27 gone on the Triple M Red Z Landing scoreboard in the first quarter.
We spoke after their first goal that Richmond are willing to just knock the ball on a la Brisbane Lions style in their premiership years at all costs. On that occasion, the ball was kicked to about just outside forward 50, and Castagna was the flyer, and Castagna purposely fisted, didn't even try to go to the mark, fisted the ball backwards behind him because he knew players were going to run onto it. If this is a move by Damien Hardwick, a tactic in the game, which I haven't seen from Richmond this year, it has paid dividends in the first quarter.
That's your Triple M C-Bus Super Special comments. Nate Brown, Chris Judd doing a wonderful job. 2.5 minutes to go before quarter time. Geelong 2 behinds, Richmond 2-3-15, and they've settled well, the Tigers, in front of an enormous crowd at the MCG. Ball to be won out of wing, not going anywhere. What do you think of the crowd, Stu? 90 plus, 95 plus?
I reckon we're pushing 95,000, Howie.
Seems to be a high percentage of Richmond fans. Geelong booed when they came out onto the MCG. Extraordinary signs and scenes. Hawley bangs it forward. Grigg attacks the footy hard. Can't get it through the pack. Now the Tigers are away. They bang the ball inside 50. It's a bouncing, screwing, curling ball. And it just misses by a metre or so. And it's another behind for the Tigers again. That was Townsend. Geelong at 2, Richmond at 16 on your Triple M Red Z leading scoreboard.
And a great start for this final for the Tigers. Zach Tui from fullback. Nankervis traps it on the edge of 50. Hooley had his handball partially smothered, picked up by Dusty. Got it to Lambert. Back to Basher Hooley. Can the defender kick a goal? Basher Hooley beats it around. And I think it's bounced through, has it?
Free kick against Jack Rewalt for the illegal shepherd.
Late call.
It was a late call.
Well done, Juddy picked it up.
And a 50.
So Jack Rewalt, little brain fade there. He's gone over the mark.
Darcy, he didn't actually pay that free kick until he looked up at, I think, Tommy Lonergan, who did the pushing sign himself. Have a look at the Triple M Chemist Warehouse replay screen. Hasn't paid it still until Tommy Lonergan goes, he pushed me, and then paid the free kick.
I don't think it was a free kick, just checking the Triple M Chemist Warehouse replay. I reckon it was in the side, and I reckon it was a great bit of bodywork from Jack Rewalt.
They're going bananas at the punt road end.
It's a late decision.
They've had a decision go against them, a goal taken off them, and a 50 as well, just to rub salt into the wound. But their side are up, leading 16-2. And the cries are going around the crowd. What are they saying, Das?
They're saying ball crap, I think.
I think that's what they're saying, is the Cats move the ball forward. And now Mackie spreads it to the outer side. They've got an opportunity. Scotty Selwood, little sneaky ball inside 50. And Mitch Duncan takes the mark. And he'll line up and have a shot from about 45. I haven't heard that type of noise since they used to give it to Richard Hadley when they used to call him the wanker, to be honest, Das, at the MCG.
Good movement by the Cats. This is a huge kick for the footy club.
It is. Mitch Duncan just to steady the nerves of a few Cat fans and a few Cat players. He'll kick from 45. Mitch Duncan, good-looking kick off the boot. Hits the post. Happened at one end, now it's happened at the other. Geelong 3 behinds, Richmond 2-4-16, 36 seconds on the clock till quarter time on the Triple M Red Z leading scoreboard.
Well, that is a big play, isn't it? Juddy said that he thinks the free kick wasn't there. Could have been a third goal to the Tigers. And nearly the big 12-point turnaround. We've got under 30 seconds, is how he just said. Hooley kicks it out of defence. While big fist away was really well done to Selwood. Selwood chips it to Harry Taylor. And the Cats, who have been goalless until 22 seconds to go in the first quarter. Harry Taylor can kick their first of the night. 40 metres out, no angle to worry about.
Great fist coming back from Tom Stewart. He's been enormous in this first quarter. Wouldn't have a heap on the stat sheet at this stage, but his fist work and his ability to get behind the footy and help out has been terrific.
So Harry Taylor, he was the match winner in the game against the Tigers just a few weeks back. Set himself for Alex Rance. First time we've seen Rance beaten, I think, for about 4 years. And now to kick the first goal of the night on the quarter-time siren for the Cats. Harry Taylor hits the post again. Wow. And the Cats fans are beside themselves at the moment. Quarter time, 2-4-16 Richmond, 4 behind Geelong. Two-man.
Yeah, last time the Cats were held goalless in an opening quarter against Richmond was back in round 14, 1959. Thus,
nice work, Two-man. That was your Bosch Tools stats. And at quarter time, what a start to this game. Massive crowd. Perfect night at the MCG. The Tigers, 2-4-16, lead the Cats just 4 behind. It's a 12-point lead to the Tigers. It's thanks to McDonald's, the Monopoly game at Macca's is back. Come in and play. Triple M Rocks footy. Oh, what a great start to this massive final at the MCG. The Tigers lead at 2-4-16. The Cats didn't score a goal in the first quarter. Just 4 behind. 12-point lead at quarter time. Reliably told at 94,652 in the house at the MCG on a perfect night. Chris Judd, Nath Brown.
Well, I thought that Richmond came out with a clear path to win the contested footy, and that's exactly what they did. They won the contested footy in that first quarter. And the other thing I've already spoken about, the fact that every time there was an opportunity to knock the ball on without taking possession, they did. And I thought they got their first 2 goals, Richmond, from that tactic.
They have. They've had a big focus on pushing the ball forward, and around the stoppages at times, they'll leave a Geelong player forward of the ball for Richmond free. They'll start a couple of Richmond players behind, and they'll just charge through, and that's been a really effective tactic for them as well, and one that I haven't seen them use too much this year. So I like it when teams save some tactics in the tank for the first week of finals, and it feels like Geelong, with that tap on and that movement through the stoppages, were caught on the hop a little bit.
Bob Jane Teamart, sorry, Nez and the Doc down there.
Chris got very, very keen indeed to talk to his troops. He was already down on the boundary line by the time that quarter-time siren was sounded. He left them from their lines and got them all in close together and spent quite a bit of time chatting to the boys.
Thanks, Nez. 95,000 in the house. McDonald's, Triple M Rocks football. Cochin hacks it off the ground. Luckily, finds a teammate, Camden McIntosh. He had a pretty good first term. Plays on. Pumps a long ball inside the attacking area for the Tigers. Fisted away from their forwards. Stewart will take it across the boundary line. About 80 round from the Tigers' goals. Richmond 2-4-16. Geelong just 4 behinds on your Triple M National Crime Check scoreboard.
So now Curvis and Zach Smith. What a start for the Tigers in this game. Keeping the Cats goalless in the first quarter. 2 of their own. Now Prestia. Been a great inclusion to this side. Kick partially smothered by blitz halves. They gain about 8 metres. He'll be thrown in 45 round from the Tiger goal.
Just see Josh Caddy running in and putting a bit of body on there to the Geelong players. He's really lively up in that 450 so far.
Been a good inclusion, Juddy. Josh Caddy, big strong body. As Juddy said, he spent most of the time forward. Now Curvis in front. Over the back was Zach Smith again. Dusty and Selwood go head to head. Won by Dusty. Steps back inside. Tries to caress a pass in the Caddy direction. Chopped off though by Blitzarves. A good defensive mark at half-back.
Mark Blitzhav in the 46 for the Cats. Goes with a low drop punt down towards Hawkins. Good strong lead, but he's marked it up the opposite end of the ground where he needs to be. Rance gets himself in front of Taylor, probably winning that battle just early. Now Cochin has a little bit of time on the footy. Screws it around the corner with a high ball. Stewart drops an absolute put. Does well to recover. Puts the younger Guthrie under pressure. Now the Tigers have got an opportunity through Martin. Back towards Rewalt. Approaches 50. Goes a little short. Chipping ball. Beautifully weighted. And Caddy, who is causing them all sorts of problems up forward, takes a mark and will go back and line up for his second.
We were just talking about how well Stewart handled the first quarter behind the footy, and that one just must have swirled around because I thought for all money he would have marked that, but underneath the high ball just dropped the footy and it just allowed the Tigers in, and well thought out by Rewalt, who could have blazed away but had Caddy in a better position.
He's kicked one and hit the post once already, Josh Caddy. He'll kick from 30 on a 45-degree angle, keeps it low, hits the post. 4th poster of the game by my count, man. Geelong are 4 behinds, Richmond at 2-5-17. I'm not sure he has that on the Triple M Bosch Tool stat sheet.
When you're ready to.
It could be 3 goals for Josh Caddy. He's kicked one and had 2 posters.
And Duncan and Taylor both hit the post.
13-point lead to the Tigers. Good mark taken. Flostone from the kick in. 55 metres out. A lot of numbers back now for the Cats. So Flostone just sizing up the situation. Now Curvis is short. He decides he's going to bomb this one long. Massive pack forms. Can Rewalt get a fly at it? Tui picked up by Townsend. A little hard nut, who's kicked 11 goals in the last 2 weeks. And the first one tonight, he couldn't break free. And it'll be tossed up right on the edge of the goal line directly in front of the Richmond goals. They lead it by 13 points.
Tigers deep in attack. We'd love to get the opener of the second term. Stewart, gee whiz, he might be done for deliberate. No, the umpire says he caged it well enough. And it'll be thrown back in, just 6 metres around from the Tigers' goal. They lead 2-5-17 to Geelong, 4 behinds. Early stages, second term on the Triple M National Crime Check scoreboard. Important ball to be won in a dangerous area. Duncan takes on 2 tacklers, gets it to Selwood. I think he's caught with the footy. You don't see that too often. Selwood ripped up the footy. He doesn't enjoy the decision, but the Tiger fans do. There was a wonderful tackle, and it'll result in a shot at goal by the human meatball Dion Prestia from a similar shot. The caddy just banged it into the post. He'll kick from 40 on a slight angle.
And as dominant as Richmond have been, they're 2 goals 5 now. They need to start making the most of some of these opportunities.
Dion Prestia, formerly of the Gold Coast, came to the Tigers to play in front of big crowds. Oh, he's missed it. Missed another one. Tiger fans, they'll be tearing their hair out. 2 goals, 6-18. Geelong 4 behinds. Ooh, Triple M National Crime Check scoreboard. Police checks fast and 100% online.
Check in with the welfare of Joel Selwood in a minute with Juddy and Brownie. You keep an eye on him and just his impact at the moment. In the meantime, he's going to come back again. Brandon Ellis just pops this one inside forward 50. They bring it to ground, the Tigers. Grigg tried to get a boot to it. Picked up defensively down there by Buse. He's lost it now. Selwood smothered out of his hands by Edwards. Great forward pressure, the Tigers. Kick forward by Tilley, and Hawkins, who is patrolling really high up the ground, takes a mark inside his defensive 50 almost and goes short to Menegola. Still at half-back, the Cats.
Selwood's only had 3 possessions with 93% game time so far.
Tigers are dominating everywhere except on the scoreboard. They lead by 14 points, but if the Cats whipped it up the other end and kicked a quick one, gee whiz, it would cause a bit of angst for Tigers and their fans, but it goes across the boundary line in front of Broad.
Tell you what, Richmond's defensive pressure in their forward end is electric. Said it at the start of the game, they've been the best at it this year. They needed to step it up for finals. They have.
Inside 50 tackles have been 7-1 Richmond's away, Brandon.
Ball back into play, 80 metres out from the Cats' goals. Cochin tries to pick it up at ground level. It wasn't Cochin, it was Prestia, and it's bundled across the boundary line in front of Nez and the Dock. Geelong are 4 behinds, Richmond are 2-6-18.
But the one thing, we have a look at the scoreboard, those 7-1 tackles have resulted in multiple opportunities to kick goals, but they haven't been able to kick them.
And Curvis and Zach Smith slapped down to Selwood. Took clean possession, did really well, got it to Colin Jasny. Had a bit of time, bit of space. Beautiful kick, Colin Jasny to Hawkins. Beautiful play, Geelong. And Tom Hawkins gets his first real look. Had an opportunity to score directly in front. He'll kick it from 51 metres.
Might be under a bit of duress, Joel Selwood, but on that occasion, there hasn't been many players who have been able to get through as he hands it off.
Decides to give it to Zach Tui, which is really strange. Zach Tui sold into a lot of trouble. And I was looking around at you, Browning. Hawkins can kick the journey there. Why on earth? That is just dumb.
Kicked a famous goal from there near the siren against Hawthorn many years ago. Exactly the same spot.
Looking at Chris Scott on the Chemist Warehouse replay screen, and he is perplexed by mark taken by Blitzarves. They'll get another look at it here, Geelong.
You get a chance to reload the Cats. Ball centre wing in front of the MCC members. Blitzarves with a high ball. Massive pack of players. Tough one to mark. Selwood, the only one that really had an opportunity. Parfitt brings it to ground. And it gets hustled across the boundary line right where the attacking 50 of the Cats meets the boundary line. Geelong 4 behinds, Richmond 2-6-18. The coach shaking his head on the Triple M Chemist Warehouse replay. That's Chris Scott. Celebrate footy finals with all the big brand vitamins and cosmetics now at half price at Chemist Warehouse. T&Cs apply. Ball not going anywhere. And a big tackle inside 50 for the Cats.
There's Sean Grigg on Joel Selwood. Thrown up now, just on the edge of 50. Nankervis won the hit out clearly. Blitzarves, though, might have been incorrect disposal. Play on Zakor now. The Tigers' defence under a bit of pressure. Young Broad got it back to Asprey. Taken off the kick. Comes the pass and shot a right foot banana. It was smothered and now taken by Cochin. Kicks it out of the defensive zone and Rewalt met it full-chested. Well played, Jack Rewalt. Gets it moving quickly. Wanted the one-on-one. Mackey's the one for Geelong. Castanian the one for the Tigers. Great follow-up effort again. Forward pressure outstanding. Dusty slaps it forward. In the way, Lonigan. He lost it. Comes out to Lambert. Bending it. Bouncing it. And just went the wrong way. Oh, that would have been massive. 2-7-19 Richmond, 4 behind Geelong. Triple M Reds head leading scoreboard.
And again, it was the tackle pressure and it was the tap-ons that gave Richmond that opportunity. Big pattern in how they're getting their scores.
It's like Parsons is coming from the ground. We'll get to Nez in the dock in a moment. Bob Jane T-Mart style. Be a break in play in a moment. There's the ball again in the hands of the Tigers. They bash it forward. It'll be only 15 or so out from their goals. Zach Tui tracks it back, does well, then calmly goes to blitz halves. Bob Jane T-Marts, Nez in the dock.
James Parsons has just come off in the hands with the doctors. He wanted to stay on, but the doctors pulled him off. We'll keep you posted.
Thanks, Nez. Get an update from you on Parsons a bit later on as the Cats drive this one down to the wing. Richmond way on top of this game at the moment. Make no mistake about it. Broad coughs up the handle, stolen by Joel Selwood. A little toe poker from Harry Taylor would be okay to Menengola. Menengola, blind, wasteful kick. Didn't look. Flosson takes the easiest of uncontested marks. And he can take his time. And he goes short and finds a teammate in Asprit.
More composed at the moment, the Tigers. Short ball. Parfitt has had a decent crack at the head of Basher Hawley.
I'm playing 50.
Who's lying on the ground. He's okay.
Grab the footy and go. Let's go. Let it go.
It's a free kick to Hawley. You heard the umpire straight away. Good umpiring. Anything to worry about there, Parfitt on the Triple M Chemist Warehouse replay?
Just looking at the replay, he got some ball along with the head, and I don't think he'll be too worried about that. Good call by the umpire.
More his elbow connected with Basher's head. As a result, though, the Tiger man gets a 50, which will take him to the middle of the MCG. Goes a 20-metre ball to Prestia. So a lot of players inside 50. Rioli with a dummy lead. And they ignore that. I reckon Prestia's just going to dump it along. He does that now. There's a man on the lead. His caddy. It bounces off his big chest. Tight on the boundary line out of side. And eventually it goes across the boundary line. No, umpire says, hang on.
They look dangerous every time they go forward, Richmond, at the moment. You think they're going to score. They're kicking points, obviously. But when Geelong go forward, it's a little bit more impetus. They don't have any structure in the way they're going inside forward 50.
Can't believe we're 10.5 minutes into the second quarter. The Cats haven't kicked a goal in this final. They trail by 15 points. Could be much worse. In attack still the Tigers, all flying through. Couldn't quite take possession was Graham. Now they're under all sorts of pressure again. The Cats trying to fight their way through. They've done pretty well. Buse finishes with Scott Selwood. Tries to craft a kick to Parfitt. Eventually it ended up with that man. The Richmond fans aren't happy with him with the high hit. Just previously Flosstone went back and did really well across half back. Took a good mark. They've got all the answers at the moment, the Richmond Footy Club.
Loving the GPS on the players. The leading player as far as distance goes so far in the game is Camden McIntosh, who's run 5.9 kilometres. We're only 11 minutes into the second term. And the Tigers taking a bit of time across half back. They look composed. Long ball towards half forward. Rewalt flies really early. Edwards has a chance though at ground level. Picks it up, gives it into Castagna. Spin it before he had it. Allows Lonergan to come in. They're away inside 50. Then the Tigers, all really short ball is dangerous. But it finds Guthrie. That's Zach, the younger, who marks in the back pocket. His side trail 19-4 on the Triple M National Crime Check scoreboard. Police checks fast and 100% online.
Parfitt took the front and centre ball off the hands of Hawkins. Now one-on-one Rance and Harry Taylor. They both go to ground. Slapped forward by Taylor, picked up by Basher Hooley. Nathan Broad, wanted to find Prestia, stolen by Motlop. Big chance here for the Cats to kick their first goal. Streaming forward, Blitzarves. Motlop hasn't seen him. Wow, he's taken a whole heap of time. Motlop kicks it forward. Eventually, big pack forms. Ball to be won at ground level. Zach Smith, the ruckman, got down and low. Menengola flicks it out. Cotson fighting hard. Harry Taylor trying to squeeze a handball out. He's tackled. Slapped forward down there by Broad again. Now Dangerfield. He got a handball back to Selwood. That was Scott. Little fumble and the Tigers get it clear again. They just want it out of there. Hughes is in the way. He's tackled by Castagna. Got it across to Lonergan, who goes short and finds the target he was after. It was Kolajasny who's dropped it. Kolajasny picks it up and hands it off.
Does well to get away from Rioli. An errant hand pass though, like the door for Rioli. Guthrie, Junior, hand pass to Lonergan. They're under pressure. Hopeful hand pass towards Selwood. Scott, now Kolajasny. Great pressure by the Tigers. And there's a free kick paid the way of Prestia holding the ball against Kolodjasny. And the Tiger fans love it. They play on Martin. The 60-metre ball towards the attacking zone. Edwards is caught behind. Duncan floats across. Can't take the mark. Now Grigg arrives on the scene. Ball 60 out from the Tigers' goals. A lot of players, but good pressure by the Tigers on the wing.
Chris Scott's got a decision to make here. He's got a forward line which is non-existent to kick to, and he's got Tom Hawkins going high and wide. Whether he puts Hawkins back inside the goal square or maybe even takes Dangerfield out of the middle and sits him as somebody to kick to, because right now they don't have an option to go forward to.
Nath Brown, Chris Judd in the back row, the Seabus Super Special comments. 15-point lead to the Tigers. Prestia sends him inside forward 50 again. And it bounces out of bounds for a boundary throw. 13:58 gone in the second term. And Geelong haven't kicked a goal in this final.
Unbelievable.
And I like that option, Brownie, of putting Dangerfield forward. One ineffective handball this quarter. So he's gone cold in the middle. I wouldn't be surprised if that leg injury, albeit mild, he got in the first quarter, is hampering him a little bit.
Tigers inside, attacking 50, Dangerfield. Martin, two don't argues, then a third. Gets on that powerful right boot, drops it right to the square, but Mackie, as he so often does, runs back with a flight and takes a strong mark. Triple M Bosch Tools stats, Bosch Power Tools, good better with Bosch. What's impressing you?
Yeah, Jack Graham, 10 pressure acts the most on the ground along with 6 tackles.
Nice work, man. Here he is on cue, Graham. Oh, look, the don't argue from Dusty. Got rid of Motlop. Hands it back to Flostone. Under some pressure. Got it in the corridor. Broad took on the tackle of Scott Selwood. Under some pressure here, the Tigers. Gang tackling attempt. The free kick goes Richmond's way. It'll be Grimes. So all the little things going the way of the Tigers. They lead it by 15 points. 2-7-19. Geelong 4 behinds, but Johnny, for all the dominance, they just need more on the scoreboard, you think?
Definitely. They haven't put him to the sword yet, even though they've completely controlled this game.
Short one to Bashar Hawley. He wants it in the pocket to Prestia. Came at it from the side. Zach Smith, right forward pocket. Tigers in attack. Castagna, little fancy footwork. Got it back to Rioli. Picked up again by Castagna. Got it to Butler. Butler beats it around and kicks a goal. Butler kicks a goal. Tigers get their third. And 95,000 in the house here at the MCG. They are up and about. 3-7-25. That's Richmond. Geelong 4 behind. Triple and Red's leading scoreboard.
We spoke before the game while Menzel was left out of the Geelong team when he was their second highest goal scorer this year. And what Richmond are doing in their forward 50 is the very reason why. Most of their score sources today are coming from forward 50 turnovers, which they're creating from tackles and manic pressure. And that case was no different. Their forward line pressure's been elite all season, and that's been the difference between the two sides so far tonight.
Ground ball gets in the forward half. Richmond 33, Geelong only at 14.
Triple M Bosch Tools stats, Bosch Power Tools, good better Bosch. Parsons back on the ground for the Cats. They try to extract it from the centre bounce. Battling away hard. Scotty Selwood coming in to give a hand. That was Menengola who, and the ball bounced off his chest. So Richmond 3-7-25, Geelong only 4 behinds. They need to answer the Cats. There's such a lot of footy to go, but they don't want to give up another couple of goals before the half-time break. Now Kolodjasny, he bends it inside 50. Hopeful ball. Tracking back is Asprey. Needs to pick it up and be clean. Just taps it in front of himself. Gives an opportunity for Parsons. He's hassled off the footy. Rance does well to keep it in. Eventually goes across the boundary line. And the Tiger fans love it. They pushed it and shoved it 60 metres around from their goals. Just having a look at something on the Triple M Chemist Warehouse replay there, does.
Yeah, and Stevie Motlop, he's gone the half a squirrel grip there on Nick Flostone. That doesn't look great. Chemist Warehouse replay screen, Brownie. Come back to that in a minute. Pressed his kick. Out of bounds on the full.
It was like he got up Das off the ground and went to grab him, and I don't think he meant to grab him in that area, but that's exactly where he grabbed him.
So Scotty Selwood will pop this one inside forward 50. Harry Taylor down there. Rance timely fist on it, as he's done so often. Strange kick from Ellis. Kicked it up 20 metres, only went 2 metres forward. Menengola gone, I reckon. Lambert got him. Tell you what, their tackle pressure, two-man, the Tigers, has just been outstanding.
It is. They've had 40 to 38, but they're restricting Geelong to only 56% by foot.
Geelong 4 behinds, Richmond 3-7-25. The Tigers down the line to Nankervis. Can't take the mark. Oh, Blitzar's pretty fancy. Grabbed it behind his back to Lonigan. Now Duncan. Here's a bit of space in the middle of the ground. Menengola bangs it inside 50. Well done by Rams. Beats Taylor. Nearly took the mark. Comes to Cam Guthrie. He's caught by Bloston. Holding the ball. What about this tackling by the Tigers?
It's amazing where it's come from. They were ranked 18th last year, and now they're the very, very best at it, and it's built on just enormous pressure around the footy. But what Richmond are also doing well when they do get the footy, they're just that slight bit cleaner than the Cats at the moment. They take the footy in their hands cleanly. The Cats at the other stage will drop the mark.
Tigers by 21 points. They could not have started any better in this final. Seen Jordan Murdoch in the hands of trainers as well. The trainers want him to come off. He's demanding that he stays out there. And Parsons, you know, he had some issues before as well. We'll check in with Nez and the Doc on that shortly. In the meantime, boundary throwing, great southern stand wing side of the MCG. 21-point lead to the Tigers. Cochin first to arrive on the scene. Beautiful handball over the top. Couldn't quite get it to the little man out there in Lambert, and another boundary throw. Narrowly Meadows.
Murdoch staying out there, boys. The Doctors come back. Also, some star-studded benches right now. We've got Dangerfield and Joel Selwood on the Cats bench right now. The great news for Joel Selwood is that the Doctors have not even checked in on him since he's been on the bench.
How many touches they had, the two? Dangerfield and Selwood.
Yeah, 8 and 4.
Lambert, piercing ball inside 50. Martin gets a touch on it, right to his attacking goal. Will do well if he can get it across the boundary line. Dustin Martin, he's caught with the footy. I don't think he had an opportunity to be tossed up. So how many touches to Dangerfield?
Yeah, so 8 touches and 4 to Selwood, so 12 combined, Howard. Just with Trent Cochin, his past 2 finals, he's only been averaging 13 touches. Well, tonight he's already racked up 12 disposals, 6 clearances, 6 tackles.
Okay, so the umpire's saying, I'm not throwing it in, I'm going to toss it up. It's not gone across the boundary line, so it's a throw up.
Josh, Mark, back this way.
This is all taking place 10 metres out from the Tiger goal. You imagine it go across the boundary line. Blitzar taps it to himself. Tigers trying to keep it in. Dustin Martin applies a tackle on Stewart. Good luck in getting out of that. And again, it'll be tossed up. Now 20 out from the Tigers goal. They lead 3-7-25. Geelong are 4 behind. That's on your Triple M National Crime Check scoreboard.
What are the inside 50 tackles, Jimmy?
Right, it's absolute blowout. Well weighed in favour of the Tigers, Juddy. 11 to 4.
Tossed up to even attack the Tigers. 21-point lead to them. Scott Selwood kicks it to the edge of his defensive 50. In front, Basher Hawley did well. And then almost a fresh area off the ground. Nan Curvis put his big frame in the way. Got up on a strong tackle. The Tigers get another look at it just on the edge of 50. 94,887 in the house. The unofficial crowd at the moment. What a night. What an occasion for the Tigers. Trying to get some run going at half-back. Menengola. Free kick off the footy.
Let it go. It's a free kick here.
As poor as the Cats have been so far in this first half, and they've only kicked 4 behind, they're 21 points behind. It is only 21 points. We know Geelong can score quickly. It's now turned into a beautiful night at the MCG. So this 21-point lead, is it as big as what it seems?
Parfitt, number 3, famously worn by Jimmy Bartell. Splits it wide to Mackie. Number 4, they're going up numerically. Mackie with a piercing ball. Duncan caught underneath it. Blitzarves, Hawkins. He's caught in yet another Richmond tackle. Hooley can't get clear. Just half forward for the Cats. They trail 25-4 with 4.5 minutes to go before half time on the Triple M National Crime Check scoreboard. McDonald's Monopoly, Triple M Rocks, footy finals.
Picked up by Duncan. Now back to Tui. Awkward kick around the body, only gained about 20 metres. Boundary throwing in front of Basher Hawley, 70 around from the punt road end where the Cats are attacking. And can you believe it? 22 gone in this second term, and the Cats are yet to kick a goal in this game. Would have got long odds that that would be the case. Free kick from the boundary throwing will go the way of the Tigers. And they love it, the Richmond Army. They are right behind their team, who lead it by 21 points at the moment. Now Curvis got it off to Broad, who goes short to Basher Hawley, right in front of the Triple M commentary box here on the members' wing side.
From Chris Scott right now, I'm wanting to get a message out to Stephen Motlop and Menengola, who are really good players in the absence of their 2 stars not being great tonight. We need a lift out here.
Picked up by Butler. Yeah, good call, Brownie. They need a lift from Some of the second tier, don't know for sure. Stewart's had some awkward moments. He's cocked it up again. Chance for Caddy. Caddy's been really good. Rewalt's there short. Rewalt takes the mark. And Jack Rewalt tucked up on the boundary. 47 metre out to kick it will be. Tight angle, right forward pocket. City end of the MCG, but capable from here, Browning.
If Eddie Betts has a pocket at the Adelaide Oval, this is where Jack Rewalt likes to operate from. I've seen him kick countless goals from this side. It's going to be a tough kick, but it's not beyond him.
7th season that Jack Rewalt's kicked 50 plus goals. It's going to take an enormous effort. Brownie thinks he's capable. He just steps inside the boundary line. Hit it pretty nicely. Gave it a good chance. Just drifted late across the face. Almost a mark came down there and line play onto the call. Jasny emerges with a footy, but more Tiger pressure. Oh, Dangerfield ran into a big bump. Ellis got him straight back to his feet. Danger though, Juddy.
Brilliant.
Both blokes straight back to their feet, and that was a huge contest by Ellis and Dangerfield.
Big flash on the Triple M Chemist Warehouse replay, and we've just seen Ellis grab his shoulder after it. Oh, gee, they hit hard. They both got up, and Ellis grabbing his shoulder. After applying a big bump, Duncan to Dangerfield, explodes from the contest, as we're used to, sends it down towards Rance and Taylor. Neither of them have seen the footy. It was WWE wrestling. Rance is the first one to pick it up on the ground, and I reckon he's done well. Alex Rance, because somehow he's tackled Harry Taylor as well. It could have been Hawkins. Nevertheless, it's a free kick to Alex Rance, who's having a pretty good night.
Let's get to the two man with the Triple M Bosch Tools stats, Chew.
Well, Das, the last time a team was held goalless inside the first half of any final was back in 1927, the 1927 grand final, funny enough, by the Tigers.
Best Bosch Tools stat of the year. He's a premiership operated two-man. He's pulled out a big one there.
Spot on, Das.
Tell you what, 1927, and we've got 2 minutes and 28 seconds remaining in the first half. The Cats haven't kicked a goal. And Zach Guthrie back there takes a good mark defensively, but still a long way home, and more pressure applied here from the Tigers.
Important ball to be won in the middle of the ground. Motlop does it, gives it to Menangola. Here's a chance for the Cats. They go to Taylor, open forward line. They just need to get a handle on it. Tui does that, gives it to Motlop from 35. Stevie Motlop for the Cats. They're on the board.
Took the jam out of your donut.
Chew's stat is stuffed, but Cats fans won't care. Booing around the MCG. That's how many Cats fans are here. Not many. Geelong, their first goal of the night, 1-4-10. Richmond 3-7-25. Back to 15 points with 1:52 on the clock before the halftime break on the Triple M National Crime Check scoreboard.
Well, to say the Cats needed that would be an understatement of the year. Richmond have been completely dominant in this first half, but they as it currently stands, they're only 15 points up. Motlop, one player, Brownie, wanted to lift, and one player who Chris Scott would expect to lift, considering Dangerfield looks mildly sore, as is Selwood, and great to see him hit the scoreboard there.
That is a huge goal, Juddy, just before the halftime siren. Dusty trying to get clean possession. In the end, Toe pokes it forward. Chance for Butler. Wrapped up in a good tackle. That was young Graham. Now Scott Selwood flicks a handle in the Duncan direction. Still trying to get it forward to centre are the Cats. Scotty Selwood again fighting hard. Hands it out to the wing. Duncan working overtime. Picks it up, drills it forward, looking for Mackie. Chopped off though by McIntosh. He comes back in board to Dusty. Front and centre. Caddy picks it up. Squeezes it to Rewalt. Good lead. Pushed in the back by Lonigan. Looked at 50. Play on's the call. Rewalt goes long to the goal square. Getting back Henderson off his hands. And a boundary thrown. We've got 1:15 remaining in the half. Dr. Rowan White, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Luke, Brandon Ellis just talking to Greg Hickey, the doctor, with that sore right shoulder after that clash with Danger, and looks to be an AC joint. I think he might have a little bit of you-know-what down at there at half-time.
Bob Jane T. Martinez and the doc. Ball 30 out from the Tigers' goals. They'd love to snag a late one. Rewalt might get the opportunity. Hand pass to Blitzarves. He's caught in a tackle. Nathan Brown, Chris Judd in the back row. Triple M C-Bus Super Special Comments, award-winning super for the building and construction industry. Richmond 3-7-25. Geelong 1-4-10. 58 on the clock before the half-time break.
Tossed up, Rewalt went third man up. Picked up by Dusty. Blitzarves laid a good tackle on him. And off hands, boundary thrown. So we're down to 55 seconds. Tigers in attack. They lead it by 15 points here. Just before half-time. Can they pinch a late one here, the Tigers? They have been outstanding in this first half. Nankervis took clean possession, got boots of ball, was smothered though, toe poke forward by Reebok. Only as far as Martin went with a wobbler on the left boot. Awkward one for Tui. Grigg flicked it out, stolen by Zach Tui. Well played by that man. Zach Smith, clearing kick, only as far as Broad, who's got 30 seconds left on the clock.
Needs to get it moving, the Tiger players tell him. Goes short, it's cut off by Guthrie. A chance for the Cats still, they got time. He goes the big 60-metre barrel. Does Guthrie, cups to Taylor, he toe pokes it off the ground. The Tigers have got the man running back. Rance needs to be clean, and he is to Grimes. Gets away from the tackle, Dylan Grimes. Closing seconds of this term. Goes short, only as far as Selwood. Goes to Dangerfield, right in the shadows of half-time. Can you believe it? Selwood, Dangerfield, goal, siren. Geelong, 2-4-16. Richmond, 3-7-25. Unbelievable scenes. We didn't see much of the two big stars, and they snag a goal together right on half-time. Richmond give up the last two of the half. And in the end, Richmond 3-7-25, Geelong 2-4-16. It's just a 9-point margin, Chris Judd.
Amazing finish to the game. And the two players that the Cats fans will be rapt got involved. Joel Selwood running back with courage as he always does and flicked it out to Dangerfield, who just asserted a little bit of authority on this game.
They have dominated the first half of this game, Richmond. The Cats didn't kick a goal until what stage of the second term, Chewy?
Yeah, unbelievable, Howie, on the Bosch Tour stat sheet, 25-minute mark.
Yet they kicked the last two. Richmond 3-7-25, Geelong 2-4-16. For all their dominance, the Tigers only lead by 9 points. Chris Judd, Nathan Brown, Nerily Meadows next, McDonald's, Triple M Rocks Finals footy. 95,000 people in the MCG, and they saw an extraordinary first half of footy. Richmond kicked the first 3 goals of the game, and then Geelong, who didn't kick a goal until the 25-minute mark of the second quarter, kicked the last 2 in a hurry. Patrick Dangerfield kicking one right on the siren. Richmond 3-7-25, Geelong 2-4-16. A 9-point lead to the Tigers. Only 9 points in a game. They've dominated. Juddy, Nate Brown and Nerily Meadows did a magnificent job discussing that first half. So let's turn our attention to tomorrow, boys. Luke Darcy's rejoined us. Choose not too far away. The first final we get to see tomorrow is Essendon up against Sydney, and we were all up there on a Friday night when somehow Essendon managed to lose a game they completely dominated with a last-minute goal to Gary Rowan, last second.
Yeah, it'd be nice for the Bombers to think that will happen again, but I think they're going to struggle at the moment. I think they're in the form that they were in the middle part of the year, and I think Sydney are in a lot better form than what they were on that occasion. Cale Hooker is a big out for me because so much falls on the shoulders of Joe Danaher to kick the goals now, and it's a hard place to kick goals from when you haven't played at the SCG a lot. So a lot becomes of the other players around the focal point. And I just think without Cale Hooker as a second foil, I think they're going to struggle to kick enough goals to beat Sydney, who are so good defensively.
You know, can't help but agree. Sydney going as good as anyone in the competition at the minute. We know their experience. We know they know how to get it done in September. They'll be fresh after the week off, and hard to see Essendon pushing him too far tomorrow.
Really enjoy the comments from Brendan Goddard after there was some discussion during the week, Darcy, this was a free hit, that they had nothing to lose. And Brendan Goddard, I never understand that expression, nothing to lose. He said in the press conference, well, of course we've got a game to lose. We can lose an elimination final. Our season can be done. We've got everything to lose.
And they'd consider themselves a live chance. And I agree with Brownie and Jade. I think Cale Hooker, it's interesting, we're talking to him about him as if he's Wayne Carey reinvented. But what he does in that side is so important that he's as big an out as you could probably have wanted from an Essendon point of view. So I would actually give them a chance. Hooker in, you know, a bit more time and a bit more balance. I think that they would be a live chance. It's going to be a tough ask sitting at the SCG, storming home in good form, but looking forward to that final tomorrow. And then tomorrow night we head to Adelaide to see Port Adelaide take on the West Coast Eagles. Juddy, what do you make of that game? Do you give the West Coast a chance to go over, and they've got pretty good form over there?
They really do. They're just one of those sides, Port Adelaide, that West Coast seem to match up well against. Obviously, the travel component slightly less flying from Perth to Adelaide, but above and beyond that, they seem to play well over there, and I give West Coast a really live chance against Port tomorrow as well.
Yeah, so do I. I think Port Adelaide will win, but I tell you what, West Coast are going to go over there. They've got a little bit of confidence behind them in the last couple of weeks, West Coast. The fact that I reckon that confidence comes from we just fell over the line. Now we're a big shot. Now it's almost like we can give it a go. Similar to what Brennan Goddard disagreed with. I think West Coast probably thought at one stage they weren't going to play and they were making up the numbers. Now they can just let the shackles off, knowing they've won 3 games there. The last 3 times they've played against Port will be a big bonus for them.
A couple of important outs. Jonas out with suspension is a big loss when you're trying to cover Kennedy and cover Darling. And Hobbs has been out with hip injury for a fair while. So it's a pretty young, pretty inexperienced side. There's a lot of players that have played under 10 games going into final for Port Adelaide as well. And I think West Coast, at their best, can go over there and cause an upset.
And they've just struggled to beat top 8 teams all year, Port Adelaide. They've really made the most of teams below them on the ladder, and they've smacked them. But when they've come up against top 8 teams this year, they've struggled. So, I think West Coast
really looking forward to seeing how Charlie Dixon goes, because I've rated the fact that he's been the focal point this year. I think he's had a really good year, Charlie Dixon, and I'd love to see him do it in a final. If he can play a finals series where he's the focal point and kick multiple goals, I think they can go a long way. But without him playing good footy, I don't think they can go anywhere.
Meant to bring it up in the Friday huddle, didn't get time. Jacob Townsend kicked the first goal of the game tonight. There's an article about Jacob Townsend in the Herald Sun today. I should know who wrote it, and I don't. If you read one footy article during the year, Google Jacob Townsend and the Herald Sun. It's an article, Nate, I don't know if you read it.
No, I didn't.
About the fact that the young man has a stutter and the effect that that's had on his life, and he's been terrified in the last few weeks, Das, when he's been kicking goals, that he'd be having to do a post-game interview. Wow. And the fear that brings on him, and how it's affected his whole life and shaped his whole life. And to the point he talked about, even when he's with mates and he says, I've got things to add to the conversation, I'm not sure I can get those words out, so I don't actually say anything. It is an extraordinary article. So if you haven't read that article, keep an eye out for it.
His footy's done the talking, how in the last 2 weeks he's kicked 11 goals coming into tonight. He just had to play the first goal of the game, and their real point of difference, as Juddy and Brownie have pointed out so well, is their pressure of their small forwards, and he's a great pressure player, Jacob Townsend. That's what has given them a half-time lead.
Yep.
Dangerfield's goal on the siren gave the Cats all the momentum. Fascinating second half about to get underway. 95,000 in the house at the MCG. Nez and the Docker in position. Juddy and Brownie ready to go. And it's Mark Howard to get you underway here in the second half. It is a 9-point lead to the Tigers.
And the Cats kicked the last 2 of the half to get themselves back in contention after Richmond completely dominated this game. We didn't see much from Selwood or Dangerfield, and they combined for a last-second goal. Ball pinging around in the middle of the MCG. The Tigers kicking to the left of your radio dial. Mackie working hard in defence. Rewalt strips him of the footy. He's a little bit lucky to get away with that, Andrew Mackie, on the Triple M Chemist Warehouse replay. And the ball's still in the centre square, slightly in attack for the Tigs.
The Nankervis, Zach Smith, flicked forward by Toby Nankervis. Kane Lambert wrapped up in a Buse tackle. A true centre forward for the Tigers. They'll have another ball up.
Good faith in Mackie. I mean, he's 300 games. He's bowing out as a champion. But playing on Rioli, who would have electrifying pace, you'd be a little bit nervous in this final if you're Mackie.
Dusty Martin just came flying through the stoppage. Didn't quite connect with the footy. Now flying back the other way is Dangerfield. Short one to Hawkins on centre wing. It was a beautiful ball. And this is where Tom Hawkins has done a lot of work lately.
Goes into the middle of the ground towards Selwood, but the kick is cut off. Well done by Ellis. He's recovered after that big hit he applied on Dangerfield late in the second term. Prestia, risky handball. Hooley does well, but Mackie cuts off his handball, immediately caught in a tackle by that man Rioli.
It's been their disconnect all night, the Cats. When they get the ball at half forward or centre wing and Tom Hawkins marks it, the next kick is the real big issue for them.
Massively important first goal in the second half. And then Curvis down towards Duncan. Now Motlop kicked the first for the Cats. Back to Mackie. He's been prevalent early in the second half. Dancing work by Edwards. Bangs it inside 50. Rewald flies, as does Caddy. Falls to Rioli, the speedster. Great tackle applied on him. Spills free again. Quick kick towards goal from Grigg. But Henderson's got its measure. And he takes it across the boundary line, 2 metres around from the Tigers' goal. Bob Jane teammates, tyre wheel specialist, Nesna-Doc.
Cam Guthrie's just come off and he's let out a loud swear word, which is never a good sign, boys. He's in the hands with the physio and the doctor at the moment.
A couple of times Lockie Henderson has dropped the ball when he's probably in a position to mark on the last line. It's gone out of bounds twice. They didn't kick a goal the first time he did it. Very risky play.
Yeah, Cam Guthrie goes straight into the rooms and Nesna-Doc all over it down there. Well done, Dusty, affected the smother. It was on Henderson, who Brandy was just talking about. Ricocheted off Dusty's hands and through for effectively a rush behind. The margin gets extended out to 10 points to Tigers 26. Cats are 16 on the Triple M Beaumont tile scoreboard.
Zach Tui short to Stewart. Had a wonderful year. He splits it wide to that man Henderson. Goes further short. More composure from the Cats in the back half. Now Buse, 20-metre ball. Eventually they get it to Blitzard. So 4 possessions to move the ball about 70 metres.
Looks like both sides have come out at the start of this quarter and more focused on hitting up that short open player.
Spot on. Triple M C-Bus Super Special comments. Chris Judd, Nathan Brown, Motlop. The speedster. Little chipping ball down towards Harry Taylor. Well done by Ellis. Outsized, but not out-muscled in the end. Punches it across the boundary line. Geelong 16, Richmond 26 on the Triple M Beaumont tile scoreboard.
So it'll be thrown in 60 around from the Cats goals. Joel Selwood, Dangerfield, both lurking around this contest. Prestia and Grigg for the Cats. Selwood just bored in, smashed his head into the contest. No free kick given. He goes back in, Joel Selwood. He's found a heap of the footy in this game, but no surprising by his commitment to a little shake of the head with Joel Selwood.
It's amazing what a big couple of acts in a game like this can do. Brandon Ellis, the one with Dangerfield, and then he chopped off a ball here in front of Selwood, which is courageous as well. You look at the stat sheet, he's only had 5 disposals so far tonight, but his game seemed much bigger than that.
Nath Brown there with the C-Bus Super Special comments. Kick forward from defence by the Tigers. Rewalt's come up the centre wing, southern stand side to try and meet the footy, couldn't keep it in. They've gained about 40 metres and a boundary throw in at half-back for the Tigers.
95,000 people at the MCG. Cool night. A lot of rain around. Stayed away tonight to date. Good news. The Tigers on the outer wing. Caddy won't be able to keep it in. And it goes out of bounds. Right on centre wing. Geelong a 2-4-16. Richmond a 3-8-26. Geelong kicked the first goal for them tonight. Two-man at what stage?
Yeah, 25-minute mark into the second quarter.
And then got one right on the half-time siren to get themselves back in the game. After they trailed 25-4 at one point. Selwood starting to get busy. Tigers will need to keep an eye on that. AFL logo out of wing. Cochin burrowing in, trying to get it towards Hooley and Martin. He called his name a tremendous amount, Dustin Martin, tonight.
Yeah, he's had 15 touches.
Done pretty well then.
Picked up the other way by Duncan. And now Harry Taylor. Cats surging forward by Scott Selwood. Handed it off to Murdoch, who was immediately tackled. Well done by Grimes. Picked up by Grigg. Dangerfield nearly mowed him down. Effected the kick. It went high and it went into the lap of Zach Smith. Always disappointing how when you're looking for a stat, it doesn't quite come out the way you wanted it to. Half forward kick from Smith. Picked up by Danger and then he left it behind. It was taken out of his hands by Grimes. Really well done there by Lambert. Got it to Grigg. Tumbles a kick to half forward and it won't stay in. The Cats players looking for deliberate. That won't be happening. Boundary throw. Nez in the dock. What can you tell us?
Looks like Cam Guthrie is done for the night. He's got the jacket on and ice on the back of a right calf and he's moved to the back seat. So he's re-emerged from the rooms but cuts a solemn figure on the back seat of the bench right now, boys.
Looks like a calf and Doc will know all about that. We might get him to a bit of a discussion about what that could mean moving forward. In fact, Doc, are you down there now? A calf at this stage of the year is pretty nasty.
Yeah, Howie, not great. He was very disappointed. It was obviously an incident because he came off and, as Ned says, very upset. So I don't think it's a knock. I think it is a true strain of the calf. Not great at this time of year, Howie.
All right, Doc White, Nelly Meadows, the best combination inbound riding down there. There's a free kick. Not sure which way it's going. Looks like it's going to be a free kick.
Played it for a fend-off, I think. High fend-off.
Dusty fend-off. So Mitch Duncan will get the free kick.
How many weeks normally for a calf, you reckon?
4 to 6, I reckon.
Yeah, we'll get back to Doc about that. Sort of the question I asked him, but he didn't really answer me, to be honest, mate. We go in the middle of the ground, Mackie's got it again.
Mackie's on the move. He puts this one long. Harry Taylor in great position. Oh, Rance made up ground from nowhere. Brilliantly played, Alex Rance. He's won that battle so far. Parsons screws it around the body. And in the goal square, Bashar Hooley with a double-handed fist through for a rush behind. Doc, calf, how many weeks?
Yeah, Lukey, no such thing as the 1 week calf, mate, and look, it's at least 3, so really bad news. They're icing the upper part of the calf, so that's more the muscle rather than the tendon. That's probably the only good news about that.
Okay, so Cam Guthrie, real danger that he may not play again this year. 9-point lead to the Tigers. Fullback kicking goes to half-back. Tunnel balled out by Caddy. Trying to keep it in Cochin, he couldn't do so. And it'll be thrown in. 2 kicks from the Geelong goal. They're going to the city end of the MCG, about 80 metres out from their goal.
This is that setup we look for. Duke, you think might be Prestia charging through, or maybe Caddy, but they've left the front of that stoppage pretty open.
Triple MC Bus super special comments from the judge. And Nate 08 doing nicely in the back row. Well done by the Tigers. Prestia, sneaky little handboards cut off. Really important moments of the game. Menangola just belted high inside 50. Hawkins nearly took a one-hander. Looping hand pass. Parsons should kick a goal and does. Geelong have kicked the last 3 goals of this match. They are within 3 points. Richmond fans can't believe it. Geelong are back in town. Richmond 3-8-26. Geelong 3-5-23. 3-point margin for all the dominance the Tigers have had on the Triple M Beaumont Tile scoreboard. Right now, get a $500 luxury bathroom wear upgrade, if you don't mind, with purchases over $2,500 at Beaumont's.
That goal was just purely for the fact that Tom Hawkins was able to keep his feet. There was 4 players in that contest. 3 of them went to it ground, 2 Richmond, 1 Geelong. Tommy Hawkins, the only one that kept his feet, the only one that was able to stand up, pick the footy up, handball it off. And if you keep your feet in footy, particularly in the forward end, you'll reap the benefits.
Key ball winners for the Cats since quarter time. Duncan 12 and Menegola, he's racked up 10.
They're back to within 3 points. Stu Man, the Tigers all of a sudden need to respond. Cats pressure's definitely going up. Dangerfield hunting the footy. Selwood hunting the footy. No one could get clean possession. Tossed up. Still inside the centre square. So Cam Guthrie, calf injury. Night gone. Potentially season gone as Curvis slaps it forward. Taken by Zach Tui. Tumbles one to half forward, giving chase Asprey. Leads in the race. Behind was Hawkins. Came off Asprey's shins. And it's been played deliberate. Now, I'll get Juddy and Brownie's thoughts on it. That seemed hard. That seemed an inadvertent kick off the ground. Hawkins dumps it inside forward 50 to Menangola. He can't keep it in boundaries. Throw him.
It was interesting, Duke, wasn't it? You could hear the support umpire calling out, pay it in the microphone. So, yeah, I guess they'd be arguing that he could have avoided making such firm contact with his foot, and that was responsible for going the ball out of bounds.
Tough call. Dangerfield snaps from 35. It's going to land right in the square. Bouncing ball. Taylor fights with about 3 Richmond defenders. One of them's Rance. Good luck with that. And it sneaks through from behind. Geelong now only trail by 2 points on the Triple M Beaumont Tile scoreboard.
And Cochin 1 touch this quarter. Dustin Martin 1 touch this quarter. So the Richmond prime movers need to get moving.
Yeah, momentum swung big time in favour of the Cats. Scoreboard just showing a 2-point margin, is how he just said. They get it over for boundary, throw it again, and haven't done much wrong, the Tigers, at all. But they all of a sudden need a bit of a boost here.
This will be where the mental battles start, Duke. They've been in this position before in September and they've crumbled in the second half. So this will be where they have to have a strong resolve and make sure history doesn't repeat.
Flicked down in the Dangerfield direction, couldn't pick it up, coming the other way. Trying to take it was Graham. He's wrapped up in a strong tackle, so he'll be thrown up 70 out. Howie from the Cats goal.
They crumbled because our man in the back row put in one of the great final performances, Das.
I think he might have written an article and put a photo of himself in that during the week. I think
wasn't necessarily a segue onto me, Howie. But
headline, how to win a final, was it? Was that the article?
I think you might have read that one as well, Howie.
Off your own boot. That's the one. I read the same article.
He demanded to do his own editing, I heard.
And write the headline and choose the picture, Nate.
Watch and learn. That's what I wanted to go with for the headlines.
Scotty Selwood. Fine drop punt inside 50. Big pack of players. Falls down towards the Tigers. And he just managed to keep it in off the boot of Graham, who's tackled well tonight. Ball pinging around. Opportunity for Collar Jasny. Again, the Cats push it forward. It's going to bounce to Taylor. He tries to go off the ground. Hawkins does go off the ground and misses just. In fact, it was Blitzars. Nevertheless, the same result as a point. Geelong 3-7-25, Richmond 3-8-26. Triple M Beaumont Tile scoreboard.
The clearances this quarter, 7 Geelong, 2 to Richmond, so that's been a big area where the Cats are getting on top. They're getting the ball in their forward half.
Listen to the noise now swirling around the MCG. 95,000 Cats fans finding their voice. They sense their sides coming big time. Just a 1 point lead to the Tigers from the kick in. It's going to come back again for the Cats. Menengola wrapped up in a tackle and eventually forced over. But they've had a lot of time, a lot of repeat forward entries, Brownie. And they get another look at a boundary throw in here, the Cats.
Yeah, they have. And like Richmond in the first quarter, repeat entries aren't necessarily resulting in goals at the moment. They're close, what-ifs, but at the moment, not a lot of goals.
Nankervis. Now Caddy to Scotty Selwood. Menengola's had a big turn. Kicks it up and it comes back down towards Nankervis. Now Scotty Selwood again tries to fight his way clear. Messy little patch of footy and it'll be tossed up again. Just forward of the wing for the Cats. They trail only by 1 point. What was the greatest margin, Chew, before the Cats had actually kicked a goal?
Yeah, Tigers by 21 points. That was halfway into the second quarter.
Slapped forward by Nankervis. All the numbers there with the Cats. Blitzar's picked it up with ease. Over to Scotty Selwood. Wants Hawkins. Hawkins presents up. Courage from Grimes. Got back in the way. Picked up by Dangerfield. Back to Parfitt. Now finds his way through. Tumbles one into the corridor and Zach Guthrie's taken a big mark. The young man, younger brother of Cam, and this is a great opportunity in just his 8th game, and he is yet to kick a goal in AFL football, Zach Guthrie.
Terrific mark, but don't discount Parfitt's work on the boundary line because he could have been crunched. He held onto the footy just that long enough to be able to get that ball squeezing through to the centre of the ground. It was very good composure.
Surprise inclusion for many, Zach Guthrie. 8th game, first final, 40 metres out, directly in front for his first goal in AFL football. Missed it. The young man pushed it across the face, and she is all locked away here. Chris Scott goes for a walk. He can't believe it. It's 3-8-26 apiece.
Now it's the Tigers that need to lift. Castagna flies. Can't bring the mark to ground. Tries to butter up now at ground level. Duncan's awake to it. Gives it to Motlop. Danger here. Goes inside. But Edwards is there and cuts it off in front of Murdoch.
It's 8 inside 50s to 1 this quarter.
And Edwards has got it at centre half back.
Short one. Finds Prestia. He goes back in the direction of Nathan Broad. Comes out now to Alex Rance. They will enjoy a bit of possession here. The Tigers. Good kick for Rewalt. Beautiful hands. Well, not paid the mark, surprisingly. Lonergan tackles him over. And listen to what the Tiger fans think of it. They're spewing, Johnny.
Not happy. Neither was Jack Rewalt. Gave a bit of a message to the umpire that he thought he held on to that long enough.
3-8-26 apiece. The Triple M Beaumont Tile scoreboard. Boundary throw in directly in front of the Triple M commentary box here.
Martin on Selwood. Dusty just holds his arm to retard the run of Selwood. A touch. Ball to be won in the middle of the ground. You heard the umpire calling play on. Edwards, now Hooley. This is better from the Tigers. Finally an inside 50 ball. Players come from everywhere. It lands 30 from home. Rewalt goes off the ground. It's bouncing. It misses by a smidgen. Through from behind, and that breaks the deadlock. Richmond at 27, Geelong at 26, 15:50 into the third term. Triple M Beaumont Tile scoreboard.
Zatsui to himself from full-back. Spears one out the Blitzar's direction. Well played, Grigg. Now taken away by Basher. Hawley tried to flick a little handball down to Castagna down there. I think maybe Edwards. Picked up again by Basher. He's wrapped up in a Zach Guthrie tackle. And it'll be pulled up just on the edge of 50 for the Tigers. Two-man.
It does. Contested ball this quarter, 22-11 Geelong's way. Martin and Cochin still only one disposal apiece.
They got beaten by 20 in the first half.
And a lift from those players. Two-man just pointed out, taken away by Blitzarves. Kicks it down the line. Blostone back courageously with a flight. Takes a good mark on the wing, members' side.
The Monopoly game at Macca's is back. Come in and play today for McDonald's. Triple M Rocks. Finals footy. Bloston with a big woodchopper beard sends it down the line. Lonergan claims the mark. Umpire's not having it, and the ball won't go anywhere. It'll be tossed up. About 80 out from the Tigers' goals. They lead by 1 point. 16:58 into the third quarter on your Triple M Beaumont Tile scoreboard.
So Blitzarves and Grigg going to do battle on the ruck. Selwood couldn't quite get. Cochin's been outstanding tonight. Picked it up And then tried to get it to Dusty. Scott Selwood intercepted it. Well done, Cochin. Beautiful pickup. Slick handle over the top. Gives Edwards a run at it. Can Edwards kick it towards goal? It was taken on the line by Stewart. And he gets it out of there as quick as he can. Broad gets the run of it. Can he send it back inside 50 for the Tigers? Nathan Broad, little short ball was good. Butler takes the mark.
Butler on the run. 70 from home. Launches a high ball. Looking for the big fly from Rewalt. Gets high, can't take the mark. Cats defenders under all sorts of pressure now. Tui, he's got 2 on him, he's got 3 on him, and it'll be thrown up. 30 out from the Tigers' goal. They lead by a point. 18 minutes into the third term.
It's the first time this quarter we've seen that same sort of energy to pressure the ball from Richmond. Good signs for Damien Hardwick.
This one's been thrown up 20 metres out. Stewart picks it up, goes back to Henderson. Lonergan steps back in, got around Edwards. Well played from the veteran, kicks it down the line. Rance, though, read it better than Harry Taylor. Rance tumbles one inside 50. Stewart on the second attempt. Whoa! He had a nervous one in the second quarter, and he found a way, Brownie, just to take that mark.
Goes short, Rioli cuts it off. This is the man that can provide a bit of spark, you reckon. Daniel Rioli marks. He goes back now. He'll have to really launch it. He'll have to kick from about, well, Mackey's on the mark, right on the 50. Has he got the legs, Brownie, from 53?
Well, it'd be fresh. It's his first kick.
He goes really short. This is a bloke from Richmond that described former teammates as good blokes, but that was about it earlier on. And Edwards takes the mark, and again it'll take a good kick. It won't be distance that'll worry him from 40. It'll all about the accuracy. He'll have to cross the boundary line and kick from a tight angle. The number 10, Shane Edwards for the Tigers, is to extend the margin to 7 points to the punt road end. Edwards starts it out right. It starts to bend in, not enough. And it's another behind for the Tigers. Get me their stats for set shots when you can, Chew, but they lead 3-10-28 to Geelong 3-8-26 on the Triple M Beaumont top score. They've had plenty of shots.
They have Richmond 1 goal 4, Cats 0-3.
Stewart kicks it out from full back, been marked by Grigg, so it'll come back in with interest here. Grigg looks up. A lot of numbers down there, so pops it down the line. Caddy from the side. Henderson front and centre. Tried to pirouette with a footy. Castagna had a little fumble. Picked up nicely by Townsend. Couldn't quite get it to Edwards. And another boundary thrown. 35 round from the Tigers' goal. They lead it by 2 points. And we've played 20 minutes into the third term.
Grandstand finish coming up, you reckon? Qualifying final. The winner will get a prelim back here at the MCG. Geelong's hopes maybe even in Geelong itself. Now Tui battling hard. High ball as a cold breeze comes across the MCG, and now there's a chance for the Tigers. Can Nate Broad marks it? I reckon he's too far out. He's going back. He'd have to kick from 55. His teammates are saying have a shot.
Pretty confident, doesn't he?
Yeah, Alex Rance has told him to have a shot. He'll have to kick from just inside the square. He doesn't want to do it. Shorts it. Loose checking from the Cats. And it goes to the woodchop of Loston, who will kick from 48.
Summed it up well, Broad. Went back with purpose. Looked like he was going to go to the yards, but he is a very big kick of the footy, and he just found Vlosno just in a hole on his own inside forward 50. Was able to get it to him.
Only kicked 1 goal this season, Nick Loston. Approaches the 50, skips now, unloads, got the distance, got the accuracy. Punt road end. They're up. And the Tigers get their 4th. Richmond 4-10-34. Geelong 3-8-26. 8-point margin. 21-10 in the third term. Triple M Beaumont Tile scoreboard. Bob Jane T-Mart's tyre and wheel specialist in Early Meadows.
The rain is starting to fall again, boys. This is about as heavy as it's been all night, and it looks like it's coming down a little bit harder as we speak. So not great signs, certainly for the Cats. You never want to be losing when the rain comes down, particularly when it's a low-scoring game already.
Look, you don't want to be behind. I actually think the rain will suit Richmond as well, not just from a scoreboard sense, because it plays into their game plan of putting manic pressure on the ball carrier. Means there's more contested footy, more chances to pressure the opposition.
Just get the sense we have got ourselves set for a grandstand finish here, and will there be some tension in the house with 95,000? Vast majority Tigers. Here comes Dusty, bursts out of the centre clearance, gets it out wide. McIntosh has been important, wanted the short one to Nan Curvis, couldn't complete the mark, picked up by Dangerfield. Rewalt did really well Effected the tackle. Play on's the call. Tigers get it to Dusty. 70 out. Going to take on Stewart on the mark. Spearing ball from Dusty was perfect. Absolutely perfect. And he finds Edwards, who can have a shot 40 metres out directly in front.
Huge. And we mentioned courage with the ball earlier on in the call. When Dusty Martin took that ball and played on, he didn't know what was up ahead. He didn't know if an option was going to present itself, but he backed his leg spin in, backed his ability to make a decision, and hit a beautiful pass that hit Edwards on the chest.
Shane Edwards, chance to kick back-to-back goals within the space of a minute and a half for the Tigers, directly in front. You'll hear the roar. Oh, they're out of their chairs, the Tiger Army. Look at him rise as one. They love that. Edwards kicks his first goal of the night. Tigers out by 14 points on the Triple M Beaumont tile scoreboard.
Yeah, good call by you, Juddy. It took courage from Dustin Martin to play on quickly, and he just absorbed the pressure too. He just got that extra step in that not a lot of players are willing to take because they know the pressure's coming, but he was confident enough, even with that pressure on his right-hand side, to bite that kick off to Shane Edwards 40 metres out directly in front, and he didn't let him down.
Tigers' last 7 entries inside 50. The Cats haven't been inside for the past 9 minutes.
They've been more precise inside 50 entries as well, as your mate Mick Malloy's on the Triple M Chemist Warehouse replay. Darce looking pretty happy. Dusty Martin trying to get involved as he's Dangerfield. Hand pass to Selwood, back to Dangerfield. There's 2 stars for the Cats. Danger goes on the left boot. He might have kicked it out on the full. The great one's made a mistake. And then Richmond will have the ball, defensive side, in front of the Great Southern Stand.
It's in the hands of Brandon Ellis. From half back, a little bit of light rain falling, as Nez just told us a moment ago. Kicks it down to the wing. Southern Stand side, Scotty Selwood took it beautifully, flicked it back to Danger. Oh, took on the tap by McIntosh. McIntosh got him, managed to get the handball away. Lonergan pops it to the edge of 50. Had Hawkins in mind, but just snuck in for a boundary throw. 45 round from the Cats goal. 5-10-50 Richmond. 3-8-26 Geelong. 14-point lead to the Tigers, and we've played 24 and a half here in the third term.
4:57 on the clock, Darce, before the three-quarter time siren. Cats desperate to get one back. Edwards kicked the last goal. Goes round the corner. Henderson tracks it back. Nearly took the mark.
Free kick.
Ooh, gee whiz. Tigers are away too. They've got it to Dustin Martin, and Lockie Henderson's come up grabbing the outside of his left ankle, so the doc will keep an eye on that one. Looks a bit proppy. The former Blue, and line goes one further down the line to Tommy Hawkins.
Led up well, Tommy. Didn't be too far out to score. And the story of his night a bit. He's won a lot of footy up the ground. Short one was okay to the lead. And there of Kolajasny. He's going to pop it to the goal square. Zach Smith sets himself across the front. Good chance here. Tui picks it up. Can he bend it around? Get some good shape on it. Zach Tui started to the near side and just didn't get enough screw on the ball. So 3-9-27. The Tigers, 5-10. Sorry, that's the Cats. 5-10-40. 13-point lead to the Tigers on the Triple M Beaumont tile scoreboard.
Ellis from fullback goes short to Broad. He plays on. Shepherd applied, gives him that opportunity. Well done by Rewalt, makes a contest in the air. Hooley cuts off the handball. His kick's smothered. Really important balls to be won. Closing stage of the third quarter, and Geelong win it. Duncan spears one into the middle of the ground as Zach Tui can set up. Wanted to come to the near wing, there was no option, so Zach plays on. Wobbles one inside, 50. Well done by the Tigers defenders to bring it to ground. Parsons goes hard at the footy, 30 out from goal. As does Mackie, he's ripped off the footy. Grimes under pressure, could have been ridden in the back, Dylan Grimes. He was. I reckon it was a tackle from Dangerfield that just pushed him a touch. And Dylan Grimes, the man that makes wine, we found out tonight, will have the ball at fullback.
Had a nice response this from the Tigers. They were really under the pump. Last 3 goals of the game, including the first of this third quarter, went the way of the Cats, and they've responded and kicked the next 2. And with a bit of rain falling, it's going to be a high-scoring game by any means. This one, Cochin tackled strongly by Murdoch, no prior opportunity, and that will be tossed up about 75 metres out from the Cats' goal. It's a 13-point lead to the Tigers. And just the 8 goals scored in the game. So 13 points strange as it sounds, is not an insignificant margin. Selwood fighting hard. Good pressure applied on him. Ball's going to come forward to 50 for the Tigers. For the Cats, I should say. And Hawkins has got a free kick against Asprey within scoring range. Tom Hawkins' chance to kick his first goal of the game.
Yeah, look, I think Asprey there saw that Grimes was going to have to go back with the flight of the ball and just wanted to protect his teammate. But in doing so, he gave away a free kick that was justifiably there, and Hawkins having a shot on goal.
Free kick was there, I think, Juddy, on the Chemist Warehouse replay screen. Make no mistake about that. So Tom Hawkins, 435 goals in his career, 5th most at Geelong. Just 6 behind the great Billy Brownless for his first of the night. Tom Hawkins delivers when they needed it most. That is a big, big goal. And the margin back to 7 points. 5-10-40 Richmond, 4-9-33 Geelong. Triple and Beaumont Tile scoreboard.
He's been good tonight, Johnny, and he's led up high, but I still think he looks more dangerous when he's deep. Every time Geelong have been looking like scoring, Tommy Hawkins has been involved, whether it's been a kick off the ground, whether it's been that handball before, when he's deep. When he's high up the ground, there's no one else to kick to. Harry Taylor has been non-existent tonight, so when kicking into Harry Taylor, they haven't had an avenue to go through. I'd love to see Chris Scott just playing closer to home because they look more dangerous when he's near the goals.
Someone's going to stand up, be a hero. Geelong 4-9-33, Richmond 5-10-40, 7 points to the Tigers. 2:04 on the clock before three-quarter time. A hard-fought game. Gives the Tigers by 7 points. Comes back to half-back. Mackie takes the mark in front of Rioli. Hasn't had an impact. Mackie shorts it down the line too much on it for Dangerfield. And Scotty Selwood, and it goes across the boundary line just in attack for the Cats.
Jack Rewalt back onto the ground. Just had a little short stint off. Minute 46 remaining in the third quarter. Nez, what can you tell us?
Mark Blitzard's just down in the rooms at the moment. We believe he's just getting some re-strapping, but it does leave the Cats down to 2 on the bench. We know that Cam Guthrie's out with the right calf.
There's Nez on the dock for Bob Jane T-Marks. Bob Jane T-Marks, the tyre and wheel specialist. Joel Selwood couldn't quite emerge with the footy. Down Prestia in there as well. This one will be thrown up. Centre wing members side. Dan Curvis and Zach Smith do battle again. Prestia, a little toe poker forward. Caddy went at the footy, and he's paid the slide below the knees against Scott Sewell, which often confuses me, that one. Caddy gets a free kick, important one for the Tigers, kicks it in the Rewalt direction. Oh, Dangerfield! What about the courage? He went back with the flight, and he's the full package, Chris Shea.
That was Jonathan Brownlow, wasn't it? Eyes on nothing but the ball, fully exposed himself to front-on contact and hung on to the mark. Inspiring stuff.
Opposed to Caddy, who was caught under the footy and dropped a mark he should have taken. Short ball towards the attacking zone for the Cats. Broad's up to the task. Really important in the middle of the ground. The Tigers get run down under all sorts of pressure. Closing stages. Can the Cats come again? Can the Tigers come again? Parfitt. Little hand pass towards Butler. Applies a tackle on Stewart. Important moments with 46 seconds on the clock. Ball goes forward. Asprey has seemingly got it under control and does. Short ball to Martin. Battles away with Stewart. Martin does well, wins the footy. Don't argue on Stewart. Takes 2 bounces. Dusty trying to lift the Tigers. Searing ball forward.
Picked up by Rewalt. Brilliant play, Dusty. Jack turns around and he finds his man in the goal square and runs in Prestia. And that is a huge goal. Big play. Dustin Martin, the star at half back. Prestia gets one on the line, and with 11 seconds to go in the third quarter, that is a massive moment in the game. The Tigers get the quick reply, and they lead it by 46-33. Triple and Beaumont Tile scoreboard.
We've seen the big name players doing it for both sides. We saw Paddy Dangerfield take a really important contested mark down one end. We've seen Hawkins be vital for the Cats up forward, but Dusty Martin is just starting to stamp his authority on the game. Won a critical contest on the half-back line, run and carry the ball, kick out in front of Jack Rewalt, an easy goal to Prestia, but make no bones about it, the genesis of that goal came from D. Martin.
Great use of the body too from Jack Rewalt, just a little nudge on his opponent. Managed to get the footy and pump it forward. 10 seconds on the clock. Can the Tigers come again? High ball inside 50. Martin has to outmark 2. Three-quarter time quickly. Nez in the dock.
Concerns for both teams here, boys. Jacob Townsend finished that third quarter down in the rooms. He's got an injury to his left side. He's with the Docs. We know that Cam Guthrie is out for the game, and Mark Blitzar's still in the rooms.
Have a listen to the Tiger fans on their feet. Triple M Bosch Tool Stats, Bosch Power Tools and Accessories.
Dion Prestia, number one ranked player in that quarter, 8 disposals, 3 tackles, 1 major.
Tiger fans, they have not won a final. Haven't seen a final win since 2001. They are on their feet. They can feel it, they can smell it, but they can't grab it just yet. Richmond 6-10-46, Geelong 4-9-33. Three-quarter time, the Tigers lead the Cats by 13 points. McDonald's, Triple M Rocks, finals footy. Qualifying final, the winner will play in the preliminary final in a couple of weeks' time. Richmond by 12 points at quarter time, 9 at the half. Three-quarter time, Richmond 6-10-46, Geelong 4-9-33. Richmond lead by 13 points. So close to their first finals win since 2001. Not there yet, though. Nate Brown, Chris Judd.
Yeah, they're not. Geelong started that quarter really well. And I thought the way Richmond got back into the game was just pure hard work and a little bit of class to top it off. The 2 goals they kicked were just from individual brilliance on both occasions. The first one was Dustin Martin, Jack Rewald at half forward, and they just hold a nice lead as the rain gets heavier.
Yeah, look, I think it's going to be really important for the Tigers that Dustin Martin stands up this quarter. He's been brilliant all game. Whenever he touches the ball, something happens, and if Dustin Martin has a big quarter, Richmond can't lose.
Over 95,000 in the house. And what about the noise? The Richmond faithful have waited so long to see their side win a final. And they lead it by 13 points here at three-quarter time. Pretty heavy rain falling down there, Nez.
Yeah, this is as heavy as the rain's been all night, which is bad news for Geelong, who are also a man down.
So we get the final term underway at the MCG. Nankervis did well. Hacked it forward to the edge of 50. Caddy's had some good moments. Wrapped up in a Stewart tackle. Managed to get boots of ball. Prestia direction. At half-back Dangerfield. Got it to Mitch Duncan. Dumps it down the line to Flostone, who got cleaned up by Hawkins. He saw Flostone. And now a chance for Scott Selwood. Flicked it back to Murdoch. Slippery ball out there all of a sudden. Coming through Edwards. Wrapped up Selwood. And Murdoch's been paid holding the footy, so wow, didn't think there was prior opportunity. Edwards gets it moving quickly for the Tigers.
As mentioned, they were one short, the Cats. That's Cam Guthrie, who's done a calf. Haven't seen him in the second half. Dangerfield tumbles it forward, out on the full. Second time he's done it tonight. Once on the outer wing, this time in front of the members. Ellis will be the recipient of the free kick. Shorts the ball, bit too much on it. Went straight through the hands of Prestia. Hughes butters up. Oh, he goes it down, argues straight in the face of Prestia. I'm not sure he's allowed to do that. Dangerfield again, hacks it back only as far as Cochin. Pretty slippery pill dust.
He hasn't kicked effectively tonight, Chairman. What's Dangerfield's effective kick percentage?
Spot on, going at 31% by foot.
That'll be almost career low for Danger. Conditions are pretty awkward at the moment. Beautiful take from Jack Reebok. Bends the kick round the corner to the edge of forward 50. But back there was Zach Tui. For Geelong, takes a bounce, wants to take on Caddy. And Caddy did really well. Put him under some heat. Down the line. What about that from Dangerfield? No one else can take a clean mark. He just did, but he's coughed it up. Stolen by Prestia to Ellis. Now Asprey sends them forward again.
Down towards the attacking 50 for the Tigers. They get the first here. They'll be hard to top. Rioli picks it up like it's a dry ball. Edwards to Martin. Don't argue from Dustin. Approaches 45. Dishes a hand pass. Rewalt goes a check side.
Just kick it yourself.
Groans from the back row, and it's 3 for 1 behind. Richmond to 47. Geelong to 33.
Players need to adjust in these conditions. A couple of times already we've seen players run past for a handball. They just need to slow it down and stay in front of the player that's taking the ball a little bit longer, because they're not going to be able to take it as cleanly as they can when conditions are dry.
And contested mark from the kick in taken by Lonergan. Now Selwood to Dangerfield. Arches the back. Decides to take on the tackler. The tackle was pretty effective there, Asprey. They've turned it over to the Tigers. Now Cochin's got an issue. Did really well to get it to his teammate in Edwards. Edwards got it to Prestia. Prestia to Rewalt. Awkward half volley for Jack on 50. Dusty comes in. Automatic, don't argue. Second, don't argue. You cannot tackle this man. Loads up a bomb to the square. Oh, Dusty, you are simply the best. He put it in the lap of Grigg. Grigg turns around and kicks the goal. What about that? 20-point lead to the Tigers. Triple M Beaumont Tile scoreboard.
Long way back from here for the Cats.
That's why you pay a man $1.3 million a year, the most you've ever paid anyone in the history of the football club. Dangerfield, 5 disposals, he scored a 4 ineffective, but Dustin Martin hasn't had the massive possessions that he's had, hasn't kicked the goals, he's had 20 tonight, but what he has done with them has been enormous, and that kick then covered every bit of 60 metres into the lap of Grigg.
Juddy told us that if Dustin Martin had a big quarter, the Tigers couldn't win. Triple MC Bus Super Special Comments couldn't lose. Award-winning super for the building construction industry. And Dusty's got him off to the perfect start. Getting out towards a game high once again. I think it was 21, wasn't it, Chu?
Spot on, Howie.
Currently a 20-point margin, but when you consider it's only 53 to 33, the Cats have only kicked 4 goals, and it's been raining. It's a long way back, but if any team can do it, it's the mighty Cats. Middle of the ground ball comes towards Lambert. Long shot on goal. Misses behind. Equal game high now. 54 to 33 on your Triple M Matador Barbecue scoreboard. Available at Bunnings Warehouse. Search Matador Barbecues.
Some urgency about the Cats ball movement at the moment. Hughes goes short to Duncan. 21-point lead, so Duncan wastes no time up the middle of the ground. Harry Taylor's played forward for the majority of the night. Selwood picked it up, got it back now to Menengola off the side of his boot. Bounces over the head of Parfitt. The ever-reliable Rance's back there, confronted by Parfitt. Did well, affected the handball. Grimes picked it up and then couldn't keep it in. It'll be thrown in about 80 metres around from the Geelong goal. They trail by 21 points. We've played 5 minutes in the final term here, Brandon.
It's all about taking your chances in finals too. I know he's only a young fella, young Guthrie, but to put the Cats in front for the first time tonight from 30 metres directly in front in that third term, should have nailed that goal. Since then, Richmond have controlled this game ever since that miss.
Got it again. Prestia, he's playing a pretty good game now. Down the line towards Martin. Spoiled, but butters up again. Dusty could get it, he does. Dustin Martin approaches 50, takes a bounce, he's got options inboard, goes really short and cleverly to Butler. And Dusty's starting to exert a big influence on this game. Butler will have a shot from 30 on a slight angle, and if he kicks this, by gee, they're almost home, the Tigs.
Well, there's a saying in footy, don't count your possessions, make your possessions count, and that's what you're exactly doing with Dustin Martin tonight. Every time he's touched the ball, something meaningful has come from it, and he's putting in a very, very dominant display tonight.
And he coming to the bench, that's why they're roaring. Loving a standing ovation for the new man that's re-signed. Butler to really hurt the Cats from 35. He shanked it. Lucky to sneak it through for a point. And the Cats live. Geelong 33, Richmond 55. Bob Jane T-Marts, best tyre price guarantee, Nerily Meadows.
Amazing atmosphere down here, boys, but good news for both clubs. Blitzarves and Townsend are both back out there after spending quite some time down in the rooms.
For Bob Jane T-Marts, Nerily Meadows, the dock all over, everything happening at ground level. Zach Guthrie sends this one in the Hawkins direction. Dangerfield just goes to across the front. Motlop trying to get involved. Almost got it in the back of Brandon Ellis. This footy's 45 out from the Tiger goal. Andrew Mackey picked it up. Announced he's going to retire alongside his great mate Tom Lonergan at the end of the year. That won't be on his mind at the moment. It will be a ball up in the forward 50 for the Tigers.
Just glad they didn't pay a free kick for pushing it back there with Brandon Ellis. I think he felt the contact and had it up a bit.
The Tigers are pushing like they've never pushed before, but Duncan is awake to it. Spreads it to Parfitt. Important ball to be won. Parfitt can't get hands on it. Big tackle applied on a Cats player by Butler. And then it'll be tossed up. And the player slowly brings himself to his feet.
Chose to get on the end of that one. Parfitt probably should have gone back and blocked for his teammate.
So it's still the pressure being applied big time here from the Tigers. They launch another forward 50. Revolt flies high. Rioli picks it up front and centre. Rioli floats it. Didn't quite hit it where he wanted to, and it drifts right across the face of goal. And out of bounds on the full. 7.5 gone, final term. 22-point lead. And Juddy and Browning, the question will be asked. The Tigers have restricted Geelong to just 4 goals. Dan Menzel, one of their leading goal kickers, not selected tonight. That will be some of the analysis post-game, no doubt about it.
Grimes manages to keep it in. Bumbles it inside 50, falls to Rioli. Hand passing it off. Opportunity for the Tigers. They're 30 out directly in front. It's a goal! Lambert kicks it. And if the Tigers aren't home, they must be very, very close. Richmond 8-13-61. Geelong 4-9-33. All of a sudden we're out to 28 points and the emotion is pouring out of Tiger fans.
Great goal by Lambert, great finish, but Rioli was heavily involved again. And the longer this game's gone on, the more dangerous his leg speed is looking for Richmond in that forward line. I think one of the important things for the Tigers now is they don't just try and save this game and play too conservative. For every goal they kick from here on in, it just makes it that much harder for the Cats to come back.
Since the halfway mark of the third quarter with that Guthrie miss, the inside 50s 18-5 Richmond's way, and the score's 5 goals 5 to 1 goal 1.
It's a big turning point.
Outstanding performance in this big final from the Tigers. Dusty again. Another don't argue on par, but look at the left foot pass from Martin. He is just outstanding, that man. He gets it back again. Dusty loads up from 65 all the way to the goal line. Caddy down there, or Townsend it was. And Townsend takes a big mark. It came by Dustin Martin again. And Jacob Townsend kicked the first goal of the final tonight. Can bend this one round from a tight angle.
Has been his only kick of the night too, that one off the ground, Das.
So Jacob Townsend, it's a big moment for him. Still wanting to lock himself into this side round. He kicked 11 goals, as we know, in the past 2 weeks. For his second. Townsend's got it. The Tigers are home. They are absolutely into a prelim final. 95,000 in the house. And they will not be leaving. They'll sit back and enjoy this one. 9-13-67 Richmond, 4-9-33 Geelong. Triple M Matador Barbecue scoreboard.
Contested footy this quarter, 20-6 in favour of Richmond, but it was really interesting. They kicked the goal through Lambert. Dustin Martin came back off the bench and he went to centre half back and just set himself up at centre half back. No one went near him, so just floated into the middle off the stoppage and picked up the footy nicely. Did the don't argue, went through with the left foot. I don't think I've seen a half an hour of football like the impact he's had on this game. He's probably played better games, but the impact in the last half an hour has been worthy of the admission alone.
Inside 50s this quarter, 9-zip Richmond's way.
Triple M Bosch Tool stats, Bosch Power Tool and accessories. The Tigers have got it again. They are dominating the Cats now. They pump it inside 50. Hughes needs to stand strong. Managed to keep it in. Goes really short and finds Motlop. Juddy, you understand the draw better than I do. The Tigers will play a prelim at the MCG against potentially who?
Either GWS, Port Adelaide or West Coast. So fair to say the winner of this game, in my opinion, books himself into a grand final.
Inside 50 for the Tigers. Castagna! Big fly, takes the mark. And George Castagna will have a shot on a 45-degree angle from about 30 metres out. The loser, Geelong. Juddy, what happens to them next week?
I'll leave that to Chiman. Chiman?
Yes, the loser will play the winner of Sydney versus Essendon, Howie.
At home.
Correct.
Okay. So Castagna to kick his first of the night. Trots in. Good looking kick. Listen to the roar. Listen to the Tiger fans. They've had so much hardship, and tonight they can celebrate. Richmond 10-13-73. Geelong 4-9-33. All of a sudden it is out to 40 points and the Tigers have kicked the last 5 goals of the match.
Well, football's an incredibly rewarding game to play out there, but it's a huge challenge and it's a stressful environment. It's not all that often you get to really enjoy your time out on the field. But this last 15 minutes or so of this game, the Richmond players will really be able to lap it up. They'll be able to enjoy the atmosphere. We saw the Castagna celebration there. They're home, and it's a perfect opportunity to enjoy this last bit of footy.
40-point Tiger lead. Here comes Selwood.
High contact, Selwood.
Showing the free kick, as you can hear, the umpire mic'd up exclusively for Triple M, as always. No thought of taking Joel Selwood off. At this stage of the game, he goes short to Dangerfield. Talk us through their nights, Dangerfield and Selwood, please.
Yeah, Dangerfield 24 at 31% by foot. Joel Selwood with 17 touches.
Dangerfield sends the Cats inside forward 50. Edwards back there, clever little delayed handball. Got it to Lambert. Now Rant streaming forward on Martin. He's got the footy. Dangerfield's going to give chase. He can hand it over the top. He's got his man Butler. Butler now pushing forward to Caddy, and this is a procession. It is an absolute field day for the Tigers. And Josh Caddy, the only inclusion from last week's team. He's had a big night tonight, Brandon.
He has had a really good night. He set them up in that first quarter. I thought he set the agenda along with Cotcham. And I'll tell you what, the wind has been taken out of the Cats, and they need to be careful because they've got a big game obviously next week. They don't want this last 10 minutes to be an absolute wipeout because they need to go in with some sort of confidence.
Josh Caddy kicked the second goal of the game, and an important inclusion. There's the result. That's 6 unanswered goals to the Tigers. They go through to the prelim final in 2 weeks' time, and they lead it by 46 points. What a night, Johnny.
It's been amazing, hasn't it? I didn't think Caddy was a walk-up start after coming back from injury to come straight back into this team, but he certainly validated the faith that Damien Hardwick's shown in him. He's been outstanding tonight. He's done the job. He was intense early on when the game was up for grabs. He's been physical, and to get his second goal is good value for his output tonight.
This game was still in the balance at three-quarter time. I know we talk about Dustin Martin a fair bit, but his last quarter, 6 disposals, 100% effective, 5 score involvements in this last quarter.
McDonald's Monopoly, Triple M Rocks finals footy. Well, the Cats are done. They'll play next week against the winner of Essendon and Sydney tomorrow afternoon. In the middle we go again. Scotty Selwood towards Mackie. Now Motlop on the right boot. Drives it inside 50. Big fly from Rance. Well, he lands on the back of his neck. The mark is paid. Alex Rance will have 2 weeks to get over it, but he hit really hard on the Triple M Chemist Warehouse replay. Celebrate footy finals with all big brand vitamins and cosmetics now half price at Chemist Warehouse. T&Cs apply. And the Richmond fans love it.
Rance has kicked the centre wing, and the free kick's going to go the way of Nankervis. It is just all Richmond. Nankervis to Dusty. Stewart did pretty well to effect the spoil. Went back on his own footy. Tom Stewart hacks a kick into the corridor. Fisted away down there by Flostone. Landed in the lap of Duncan. Tried to take on a tackler with a clever kick to Buse, to Murdoch. Flying shot from Murdoch off the side of his boot. And Harry Taylor, who had the better of Alex Rance last time, has lowered his colours tonight. Rance has been pretty strong tonight.
He's been terrific, hasn't he? He got a touch up down in Geelong, and he's answered very, very nicely.
Sigh in the crowd, the other team has no chance. We have Alex Rance, and he's done that tonight. The All-Australian captain. Hawkins battling hard, danger. Field gets a scrubby kick towards goal. Richmond again with the numbers at ground level. Back to the man that gives them no chance, Alex Rance. Bombs it long. Mackie tracks it back. He's going to have to deal with Castagna. Does that easily with a little nice step. Takes his time now, Mackie. Sends it inside 50. Big fly from Hawkins. Got up high, couldn't bring it down. And he might have hurt himself, Tommy Hawkins, in that big contest. He was a bit slow to get up on the Triple M Chemist Warehouse replay. If you're just joining us, it was tight. A 13-point margin at three-quarter time. And the Tigers have kicked the only 5 goals of the term, Dust, and they lead 79-33.
Remarkable night of footy here at the MCG. It's going to be great to follow the Tigers throughout the finals. You can't imagine how hot a ticket that prelim final ticket's going to be, isn't it, with Richmond here at the MCG. But they'll be queuing up as of tomorrow.
You're right, judging by tonight, it's been an electric atmosphere, and it's only going to get bigger for Tiger fans.
Big Melbourne club, long time between wins. Last grand final win 1980, Howie. They've got an enormous following. Great passion with the Tiger fans as Hawkins sends it to the edge of 50. Picked up by Parsons. And he under pressure sprayed it way offline. Just snuck it in for a minor score. 14-34 Geelong. 11-13, 79 Richmond. Triple M Matador Barbecue scoreboard available at Bunnings Warehouse. Search for Matador Barbecues.
And I can't see Joel Selwood out there, Howie, but if I'm Chris Scott, I'm not sure if I'm bringing him back on for this last bit of the game. I'd be resting up that ankle and getting him right for next week.
He's down on the boundary at the moment. Looks like he's not too far away from coming on. The game started in a remarkable sense when both teams came out on the ground, and the roar for the Tigers was deafening, and then the boos for the Cats. The Richmond fans heavily outnumbering their Geelong counterparts. And you can hear the Richmond chant going up at the punt road end as the ball meanders away down to centre wing. Bob Jane T-Marts, Nelly Meadows.
They're a little bit limited, boys, with what they can do at the moment on the Cats bench because Cam Guthrie's been out for the entire second half and Jake Kolodjasny is also out of this game. So they kind of need to bring Selwood back on.
What's happened to Kolodjasny, Nez? Any idea?
We're not sure. He had a good old chat with the doctor and physio in front of us and they decided to put the jacket on. I think with the game done and dusted, it wasn't worth the risk.
Well, Jane T-Marts bring you Nerily Meadows and the doc down there have been outstanding tonight. So Cam Guthrie, calf injury. Some real doubt about his finals campaign continuing from here on, Howie. And as Nez just said, no more Jake Kolodjasny. Boundary throwing on the Great Southern Stand wing side. Huge night for the Tiger faithful. They lead it by 45 points. That one's gone out of bounds on the full off the boot of the Tiger, so it'll be a Mitch Duncan free kick on centre wing.
What does the coach do for the next 2 weeks, Damien Hardwick? Does he let the lid off a little bit, or does he just try and keep it under control if possible, Chris Judd?
Oh, look, I think you certainly enjoy the win and recognise the effort it's taken to get here, but you just be really focused on what you've got to do and really focused with your sports science guys on getting the sort of training load you need next weekend without a footy game happening.
Ball bouncing around half forward for the Cats. Motlop hasn't really been a factor. He's caught in a big tackle. And the ball will be tossed up on the outer wing. 7:20 on the clock still. Remarkable how Richmond have blown this game apart with the last 6 goals. And the Tiger fans, that roar on the final siren is going to be something to hear. Martin, he's had an incredible second half. Ball floated towards the attacking 50 and it's out on the full. I'm not sure who's got the votes tonight, but you can imagine Dustin Martin will feature.
He will. Well and truly. Yep, he'll be Daylight. Dustin and Daylight will be second.
It's the third time Paddy Dangerfield's kicked the ball out of bounds on the full tonight, Howie. Just hasn't been their night. The Cats have fought hard. Been outplayed by an unbelievable side that's got this incredible sense of momentum behind them. What about Damien Hardwick? Just look at him on the Chemist Warehouse replay screen. There was talk about sacking last year. There was plenty of people wanted to overthrow the board, Jody. It's amazing, isn't it, what's happened in 12 months?
There was, and one of the main things he did when he came back at the start of pre-season is he focused on what players can do rather than what they can't. He felt he veered into that territory last year, and we've seen the response from his playing group.
Outstanding blitzer, sends it down to the goal square. Rance got rid of Harry Taylor fairly. Harry Taylor bounces back to his feet. Boot to ball for Harry, and he kicks a late goal. Tiger fans don't like it. But Harry Taylor kicks his first of the night. Hasn't been a factor at all. And it brings the Cats to 5-10-40. The Tigers are 11-13-79, 21 gone. Final term, Triple M Matador Barbecue scoreboard.
The big question you did raise, Drew, the fact that they left Daniel Menzel out. Now, for the best part of 3 quarters, this was game on. It was hardly anything between these two sides for a long period of time. Does Daniel Menzel make a difference going forward in those first 3 quarters? This last quarter's been a blowout, so the game is over, but it's a big selection headache. They've gone in without it, and they've probably missed him more than they thought.
Triple M Seabus Super Special Comments. Nate Brown, Chris Judd, award-winning super for the building construction industry. Back in the middle we go. Tui tries to extract it. Joel Selwood comes back towards Mac Daddy. Pumps it forward. Cooley taps it cleverly towards Caddy, who's had a good night. Kicked a couple of goals. Back in the side after a string. Now gives it to Butler. Shorts it down the line. Well done by Henderson. Rioli hasn't had much of the footy. And the ball is stopped from going anywhere. It'll be tossed up just on the half-forward line for the Tigers, who lead 79-40 with 6 and change on the clock on the Triple M Matador Barbecue scoreboard.
Selwood fighting hard. In front, Prestia's had a big night. Won the footy first. Wrapped up the Selwood tackle. Down Prestia's night, Jimmy.
Yeah, Dion Prestia, leading ball winner for the Tigers. 28 disposals. 1 goal, 1. Just another Bosch tool stat. Cats only 5 marks inside their forward 50. That's their lowest return this year.
Hasn't fired at all, has it? 2-man up forward for the Cats tonight. So a bit to think about for Chris Scott, who will have lost 7 of his last 9 finals since winning the premiership in his first year as a coach. So he'll be feeling a bit of that, Juddy.
He will, yeah, that's been noted a lot during the week, hasn't it? And, I mean, they've come out and they've been competitive and they've certainly had a crack. But when the game was up for grabs, Richmond and in particular Martin just outclassed him.
7 of 9 since the premiership. 95,028 people at the MCG. I think the 28 are Geelong supporters. I reckon another 95 are Richmond. Well, that's how it sounded anyway. Certainly a 75-25% number, you'd reckon. Ball inside 50 for the Tigers. Rewalt flies with abandon. Cochin, little swivel, snap towards goal. Listen to this. Cochin's pumping his fist in the air. He did a little pirouette. The roar went up and it increased as the ball bounced through. The skipper's on the board and it is a celebration for the Tigers. Richmond 12-13-85. Geelong 5-10-40. 45-point lead to Richmond. And all the impartials out there watching in the football world, I think they'd be smiling, Brownie, because there's something special about the Tigers when they finally get rolling.
That was as good a goal as you'll see. Trent Cotchin attacked the footy with absolute vigour, picked it up, blind turn, was getting tackled as he blind turned and was able to get it on the boot in for a goal.
6 goal to 1 quarter here for the Tigers to storm into a prelim final. 45-point lead. Hughes trying to fight his way through. Still not cleared out of the centre. Cochin again on hands and knees. Dusty got rid of Dangerfield and then set forward. The mark's been taken at half forward for the Tigers by Lambert, who's been good tonight. Got the runner out wide in Edwards. They're everywhere. Look at the Tigers queuing up for it. Jack Rewalt comes out and takes the easiest of uncontested marks. There was about another 4 players who could have queued up and got it, but Jack will go back and shoot from 45 metres.
It's been very effective getting people ahead of the ball or behind of the ball, Richmond. When you look at the contest itself, there's always more Geelong players at it. Once a Richmond player has won the ball or is about to win the ball, Richmond have reacted quicker and got ahead of the ball with much more effectiveness than Geelong.
Interestingly, Jack Rewalt hasn't kicked a goal. 2-man.
Spot on.
Which will please Damien Hardwick. He's always wanted a bigger spread of goal kickers. Worked really hard on changing this forward line. Well, that's a nice moment too. As Jack kicks his first goal, he puts the one finger up as his trademark style. And it's more joy here for the Tiger faithful. 51-point lead to Richmond. Triple M Matador Barbecue scoreboard.
Well, 11 different goal kickers for Richmond. As we know, it's been one of Hardwick's plans to get more goal-kicking options into their forward line. So he'd be rapt that that's the first goal that Jack Rewalt's kicked tonight, because it just shows that they're no longer reliant on him to kick a winning score, Brandon.
A huge moment. I spoke about the miss Geelong had, but the huge moment on the outer side just before three-quarter time when Dustin Martin won that 50-50 ball with Stewart, and they went down this end and kicked a goal, which put them 2 goals clear. I'll tell you what, they haven't looked back since then.
So with Dusty Martin, he's just racked up his 12th score involvement, along with his 26 touches.
McDonald's, McNopoly, Triple M Rocks finals footy. The Tigers trying to move the ball forward again. They've kicked 7 goals in the last term in what was a low-scoring game. And trying to push it forward again. Touch, play on, back towards the Cats. Now Dusty Martin. Juddy reckons he's got best on ground in the bag. Pushed forward from Lambert only as far as Mackie. What's he had, the Brownlow favourite Chihuahua?
27 disposals, 12 score involvements, along with 7 tackles.
Hooley cuts it off. Just tells everyone to calm down. Dangerfield
For Bosch Tools, 29, but he's going at 31% by foot.
And Selwood Joel.
Yeah, Joel Selwood for Bosch Tools, 18 touches.
Rioli launched himself at it, socket forward off the ground by Butler. Inside forward 50, Tui under pressure. They've done this brilliantly, the Tigers. The forward pressure outstanding. They thought Rewalt was pushed in the back. Selwood got back there, ducked the head. Play on's the call. Here's Dusty. 2 of them try to tackle him. Clever little toe poker at a Cochin. Cochin's handball chopped off by Zach Guthrie. Motlop, little fumble, not done with yet. The Tigers, they still want more, and they wrap it up nicely. That's 70 out from the Richmond goal. I'll tell you what I love about Dusty. His family have been front page of the paper. He's been, and as we listen to the Tiger faithful, standing ovation. Was that Dusty coming off the ground?
Yeah.
They paid great respect to that man. I was just about to make the point, Brownie, about the pressure he's been under. It strikes me as a sort of athlete that more pressure,
the better.
The better. He loves it.
2 minutes on the clock.
It's rare in a lot of athletes too, isn't it?
Motlop affects the spoil. Well done by Prestia. He goes short, and there's holes everywhere in the defence of the Cats now. Lambert takes the mark. He's the one that probably kicked the sealer. Bob Jane T-Marts and Nez in the dock as Lambert lines up from 35.
Boys, talk about party time. Right now they've got Rance, Cochin and Martin all on the bench for the Tigers.
Yeah, I reckon they're probably leaving there too, Nez, at this stage with 2 on the clock. Lambert kicked the second of this term. They've kicked 7 goals this term, Richmond. Lambert, he shanks it. From a big build-up. He won't even make the distance. And the mark is taken by Big Zachy Smith.
So a minute 42 remaining in this game. Make sure you stick around and listen in a moment to the roar with 95,028, the official crowd. And not many, even the Geelong fans, I think, have decided they want to stay around, as they should. Caddy chops off the mark and send it deep into attack again. It's a laser-like pass. Out the back, Rioli picked it up beautifully, glides across the turf, decides the 1 foot standing right, bananas the option across the face, and Brandon Ellis has taken the mark. Goes short, Butler couldn't quite complete it. In came Castagna, little Georgie Castagna to the goal line. And back there, Andrew Mackey takes the mark on the last line of defence.
Cats working hard to get it out of defence, but again, only as far as Caddy, who's played a big game. Richmond, their last 3 finals at the MCG, average crowd 93,300 people, so they know how to pack them in. And Grimes has it, just forward of the wing, goes all the way back to Broad.
Nathan Broad, he'd be excited. 10th game, 95,000 at the G. This kick's been turned over. Asprey couldn't quite find Grimes. Dangerfield tackled well though. They've taken care of him pretty well tonight at times too, as Murdoch's dumped over the line, boundary throwing. 15 seconds on the clock and counting. And so, what a night for the Tigers. Final quarter, they've kicked 7 goals to 1. 51-point lead. Townsend, great stories out there everywhere for the Tiger faithful. And they, quite rightly, they're going to savour this moment. They'll go through to a prelim final. Last time they did that was 1995. And what a final series it's going to be with Richmond. A serious chance to be premiers in 2017. Duncan's handle, and less into the Tiger line. The best song in the game, and it's never been sung like that in my time. What a sight it is at the MCG. The Richmond fans absolutely drinking in every bit of joy they can out of an unbelievable performance. Geelong, they go down by 51 points. They've got a bit of soul-searching to do. But the Tigers, Nate Brown and Chris Judd, they are as good a chance as anyone to win the grand final this year.
Particularly who they now face in the preliminary final. So they play the winner out of either GWS, Port Adelaide or West Coast. So that's the side of the draw you want to be on. And they play this ground so well, and they've been awesome tonight.
We're about to hear from Dusty.
It was a complete performance, I reckon, from start to finish tonight. A real four-quarter game. Yeah, that's what I just said to the boys on the bench. Every bloke played their role. Just a great team win. You had to really wear them down, though, didn't you? They challenged you just before half-time. They kicked those goals, and you go in, and they're really challenging. What was the message there at half-time?
Just keep going where we're going. Fella were on top of the game, but they got a couple of goals before half-time, but we just stuck to the process. So, it was good.
How's the noise, mate? I can't hear anything, really. Did you feed off that? Because it's unbelievable, the noise here.
Yeah, mate, it just provides great energy. It was unreal. Loved it.
Mate, what about the skipper tonight? I thought he set us up early.
Yeah, he's a great leader. I love playing with him, and yeah, it was a good game by the skip.
Koch, mate, you did there. Well done, Dusty. Koch, you looked like you had a real resolve early in the game. You had 5 tackles in the first quarter. You really wanted to set the standard.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's your job. The boys have a role to play, each and every one of us, and that's what we love doing, showing up and getting to work together.
I thought the defence tonight was outstanding. Obviously, Alex Rance played well, but I reckon over the last 2 months, Nick Gloston's gone to a new level down there.
Yeah, absolutely. He's playing out of his skin. It's a credit to the guys, the work they do during the week and the way they show up on game day. They stay in the moment, and that's really important.
Mate, you've got a couple of weeks off now, and obviously the Richmond fans will be reasonably excited, I would think. What are you going to do? Are you going to embrace that energy?
I think you have to. If you try to shy away from it, away from the footy club, people are going to want to talk about it. You just got to enjoy that, I suppose. It's been a long time, but the reality is that when we're inside our 4 walls, we've got work to do, and we know that, there's going to be, 4 teams left that are vying for that final 2 positions, and we need to get to work and make sure that we prepare as well as we possibly can.
Be pleased for Dimmer, mate. So obviously, the elephant in the room, the elimination finals losses, should be really pleased for him tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all the pressure's always on the coaches. He's been amazing this year and throughout last year. He's shown that steely resolve when he's led from the front. So all we can do is get behind him and play for him.
And the pressure that you built the whole year on tonight was probably the best it's been all year. So really built your game off that all year.
Yeah, you'd like to hope that in finals. I mean, we know that they're a contested game, and the guys, whether it was the forward line, midfield or backs, I thought we played our role significantly well. Geelong are a fantastic team, and they'll fight their way through the next couple of weeks, I'm sure.
Well done, Coach.
Thanks for joining.
Great work. Richmond down there, Howie, courtesy of Channel 7, and he'll be enjoying that as much as anyone in the house. Richo, don't worry about that. Trent Koch and also Dustin Martin down there at ground level, and just an unbelievable night tonight, Juddy. No other way to describe it. I think can't remember a final like that with that sort of noise, that sort of emotion. It's been a pretty special night.
It was incredible. It's the modern day Coliseum, and big win by Richmond. State the bleeding obvious, a 51-point win, but it really felt like they deserved that. They could have put the game almost to bed at half-time. They missed some opportunities, and Geelong fought back, but really Richmond controlled the night and deserved their convincing victory, Brownie.
They're a rare breed, the Richmond supporters, aren't they? They are ecstatic. They don't have a lot of success over the last 30-odd years, and they are just adoring this moment, and it's such a big footy club, and we saw that tonight. 70,000 people of 95 here tonight are Richmond supporters, and I've never heard a ground as loud as what it was tonight. Nearly made it a really good point before the game that when you have a grand final, there's probably 40,000 people who aren't supporting anybody, who are just there as corporates, but there was probably 70,000 of the One supporters here tonight. They made an almighty roar. And on the back of the map, they're going to pay $1.3 million. He was the game turner. The amount of store involvements he had tonight, he is worth every cent of what they paid for him, whether you think they paid overs or unders, but he was brilliant tonight, Dustin Martin.
Let's get down to Nerily Meadows for Bob Jones team Arts.
Unbelievable scenes down here, boys. Damien Hardwick has just walked in with the biggest smile on his face. It is packed down here, and they've given him a massive applause as he's walked into the rooms. Just brilliant scenes. This is, of course, 16 years in the making.
Nice one, Nez, and we'll get all the full wrap interviews from the rooms, both rooms. Nez will be all over it. Doc will give us the update on the injuries. There's a concern about Cam Guthrie with a calf, and Colin Jasny didn't play much in the second half as well. I reckon they'll have to turn the lights out to get the Tigers supporters out here tonight. They continue to sing the song, and you need to stand up in September. Two-man has. I think he's got another little zinger for us. Triple M Bosch Toolstat style.
Well, Geelong's scoreline of 5-10-40. That's their lowest score in a final since 1914, Howie, so over 100 years ago. And for the Tigers, even though they haven't played in too many finals, is their greatest winning margin in the final since the 1980 Premiership when they defeated the Pies.
1914. He's going back to the Great War, our man.
That's what he does in finals too, man. He's a two-time day, two-time night. And as he said himself, yep, I did really well tonight too, man. And
Das gave me a pep talk before the game, actually.
You need to lift too, and he's come and delivered in fine style, as we expect.
Those stats aren't computer-based. He's going back to the files for those. They're extraordinarily well done.
You don't get that other places out.
No, the Tigers, they come down into the rooms. Now, it's going to be a wonderful rendition of the song. Brandon Ellis, Dylan Grimes, got his arms round Kane Lambert. They kicked 1, 2, 3. How many goals they kicked? 8 goals in the last term, Chewy?
7 majors.
7 majors and 8 of the last 9 goals of the match. An extraordinary performance. Townsend got a couple, Caddy got a couple. Jack Rewalt kicking his only goal as the last goal of the match. Richmond led by 12 points at quarter time, 9 points at half time, 13 points at three-quarter time, and they run out winners by 51 points. The Tigers will play a preliminary final at the MCG, Juddy, against West Coast Port Adelaide or
GWS.
the GWS Giants. All right, Nez, bring them in.
It's beautiful down here, boys. Just watching the players come in with fist pumps in the air, but Damien Hardwick, like a proud dad, standing back behind the net, just supporting them with a really satisfied look on his face. This is just wonderful scenes down here. Jack Rewalt's got the strut going as he's the last to join the circle. Let's have a listen, boys.
Great scenes at the G because, Nez, they've played the Tigers singing their song in the rooms around the ground, and the Tiger fans are continuing to sing the song out here with them in spirit. Give us a call, 133353.
The Tiger open line.
The Tiger open line, 133353. Tell us what it's meant to you tonight, what you've thought, whether you think you can win the premiership. And Cats fans, if you can face it, jump on the line as well, 133353. Sorry, Nez, back down there in the rooms.
Just wanted to say, Howie, this is the most joyous I've ever felt in a winner's rooms. It just fills you up. You just can't help but smile watching these boys. It's been such a long time in the making, and it's just pure footy joy.
Fantastic, Nez. 133353. You can speak to Juddy, you can speak to Nate, you can have a nice, long, warm conversation with Juddy about the Tigers. That'll keep me entertained for no hours. We might do that till 4 a.m. with Juddy rolls out a bit of his small talk special task.
Yes, I like it. It's Tiger time, Howie.
It is Tiger time.
You can just get on the line. We'll spend as much time as you want. We'll talk Tigers. And looking forward to it. There'll be a few that'll be pretty well refreshed.
I would have thought so. I don't think they would have gone without.
All right, how'd they do it tonight, Nate and Juddy?
Well, they did it on the back of their defensive pressure and their tackle pressure. 74. I'm going to go back to half time where they completely dominated the first half. We know Geelong kicked a couple of goals late, but Geelong had 74 handballs at half time. We know they're a handball, so that was 20 more. And it wasn't because they wanted a handball and they were handballing into space. It was because they were under pressure and they were handballing into trouble quite often. I've never seen a side tonight like Geelong handball to a player who was already under pressure. So not only did they have pressure coming from the player trying to tackle, but they had pressure already coming from a player where they were going to handball it. So it was enormous pressure tonight. Well done to Richmond.
It's the pressure, Brownie, and I think what we saw in the second half of that game is in the first half, Richmond, when they did win the ball back, they just kept pumping the ball long down the line, and that allowed the Geelong defenders, when they had a spare, to zone off and intercept mark and create damage in those marking contests. Once Richmond steadied and started lowering their eyes a bit, Geelong just had no answers, and Dustin Martin was the big one who led that charge. He started using the ball through the corridor, taking some risks, and that's what turned the game on its head in that second half.
Nez, you've got a former Cat, but very happy ticker down there with you.
That's right. When the game was on the line tonight, this man was superb. Josh Caddy, how does it feel right now?
Yeah, it's huge. It's no secret that it's been a while for this club to have some finals success, and yeah, we're wrapped. It's massive, but still we're not quite where we want to be just yet. But yeah, it's great.
Very nice to get one over your old side as well.
Yeah, it was. A little bit of me feels for him because I've been there with him before, and it's a shocking feeling. But yeah, I mean, I'm wrapped. Yeah.
I can't talk to you without asking about Dustin Martin. Do you just shake your head in disbelief at what that man can do?
Yeah, he's special, and he took even another step tonight in terms of standing up in a big game. And as I said, it's been a while for this club in finals, and there's been a lot of pressure on guys like Dustin and Trent and Jack and Rancy, and the list goes on, and they were all unbelievable tonight, and Dustin led the charge there.
Are you a bit emotional right now? Ever sensing a little bit of tear in your eye coming down?
Oh, I'm not. Yeah, a little bit. No, not a tear just yet, but I am a little bit lost for words when it comes to talking about Dustin. That's for sure, because he's pretty unbelievable.
Josh, coming back from the hammy today, you look really sharp tonight. Did you feel the hammy at all, or did you feel like you were on top of the ground?
I actually felt I felt good for the break. I had 3 weeks off, but I was able to get running pretty quickly. So I sort of did a little bit of a mini pre-season sort of block, a lot of running, but just I suppose the body freshened up. A little bit quieter in the second half, which was personally a little bit disappointing, but luckily my teammates were unbelievable tonight, and Trent, Dustin, Dion Presti was unbelievable, Jack, Alex, the list goes on. So there was a special team performance tonight. As I said, hopefully we can keep building and have a big prelim and get into the big one.
Hey Josh, particularly early in the first quarter and for most of the first quarter, it seemed like any time you could knock the ball forward, you wanted to knock the ball forward, even if you didn't have to take possession. Was that a tactic tonight?
A little bit. I mean, it just sort of happens as well a little bit in finals. It's obviously a high-pressure environment, and you just want to. It's a bit of a territory battle, the way both teams play. I think probably more so us, but it wasn't overly talked about. But we just wanted to get the ball going forward, no doubt.
Speaking to Josh Caddy, you had a great night tonight, Josh, and we know you spent a lot of time as a midfield. You've played various roles in the ground, but I loved your forward tonight. I thought you looked really dangerous. You kicked a couple of goals, but every time the ball's in your area forward of the ground, you felt like you were going to do something positive for the team. Is that where you see yourself playing as this final series continues?
Yeah, probably. We've got some, like I said, I've already named them, but we've got some gun midfielders, and I guess my role is to be a forward and then give them a little bit of a chop out. Dustin obviously goes down there a fair bit, and sort of when he goes into and has a rest forward, that's when I come up and sort of pinch hit in the midfield. So it's working well, and I mean tonight it was it's no secret they were a bit undersized, so I was just trying my best as Towner and Jack we're all trying our best just to bring the ball to ground, and we looked so dangerous, I think, once the ball did hit the ground. So that was our aim, and I think we executed it pretty well.
Josh, how are you? Congratulations on the win, and great to see you back out there. Mate, when did you find out, how did you find out, and what did it mean when you realised that Dustin Martin had re-signed with the footy club?
Yeah, well, he left us waiting a while. I'm pretty close with Duz, and I only found out a few hours before the rest of the world found out, but I mean, in the bottom of my heart, I reckon I was pretty confident he was going to stay. I couldn't see him leaving, and he's got a great bond with the boys, and we've got a really tight bond as a whole group. So I couldn't see him walking away, and I know he felt we're on the verge of something special. There's a bit of a special feeling about this group, and we're really close. I couldn't see him leaving, but it was great when he did commit, and I'm looking forward to playing with him, not only in the rest of this final series, but in years to come.
His shout for sort of everything from now on?
Yeah, well, he is pretty generous, but no doubt I'll put the wallet away when I'm around him.
Josh, we appreciate your time. Have a good 2-week rest. We will see you and the Tigers in a preliminary final.
Can't wait. See you there.
Well, Josh Caddy, absolutely stoked with the Tigers win. Now, we've opened it up, Das. We don't very often do this on Triple M Footy. 1-3-3-5-3. They've been sifting through the calls back at Central Base there, and it's been entertaining. Some haven't been judged worthy of putting to air. But, Nath, I think you're going to be one responsible for what happens over the next 10 minutes. Take it away, Big Daddy. I'm washing my hands of this.
Well, the first caller we've got on the line is Caitlin from Parkdale. Caitlin, how was that?
That was awesome. I don't have words.
Well, go some words. You're on radio.
It's super special to me and my family that happened, because my granddad was a member, as soon as he could be. I was a member since I was born. So is my sister. My dad watched the game from Kenya on his laptop today as it happened. So it's just insane that it's happened, because it's something that I never thought I would see in my lifetime, to be honest.
Have a great night, Caitlin, and enjoy that. Dougie from Lilydale. Dougie, how is it going, Dougie?
G'day, boys. Yeah, pretty good, actually. Now, I'm actually a Bombers supporter, but I don't mind the Tigers, so I'm pretty happy they got up. But more importantly, this means we get to play the Cats next week, because obviously we're going to smash the Swans tomorrow, and that means we'll smash the Cats, and we'll play a prelim, and then we'll probably make it into the granny and do what the Bulldogs did last year. So I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty up and about. I'm going to drive up to Sydney tomorrow with one of my mates and watch the Bombers get up, and, she'll be all sweet.
It's not a bad plan from Dougie. Good luck to the Bombers. Valerie's out in Dandenong. Is it Tiger time, Valerie? Valerie, is it Tiger time?
Yep, I'm happy. I'm wrapped. I've had a bad year. My husband passed away, and his cousin was a property steward at Richmond, and I wish they were both still alive. The game tonight, I'm just so happy and wrapped. Yeah.
Good on you, Valerie. Very excited for you. Not Giuseppe Mamone, is it your cousin who's down there at Tigerland? The property steward?
My husband's cousin, he was property steward, Bobby Lachlan,
great stuff, Valerie. Very happy for you. These are the great stories, Howie, I love. Big night like tonight for Valerie. It means the world to people, and great celebration for the Tigers. Keep the calls coming through, 133353. Want to hear more good stories from the Tiger faithful in particular. And as you said, if you're keen to jump along as a Geelong supporter, I'd like to hear from you as well.
And nice to hear they were listening in Kenya as well. I thought your man Juddy's a bit awkward on the phone because I don't think Nate's missed a conversation. I'm not sure we're handing out the right roles at the moment to us.
I think we'll keep going with it though, Howie.
Because pretty solid.
Nathan Callers could make some real awkward radio, so stick around. We'll do this all night if we need to. 133353, give us a call. This is the Triple M review for Exetel. Visit exetel.com.au and pay much less for unlimited NBN and broadband data. She's all over here at the Triple MCG. The Tigers are into a prelim after belting the Cats 13-13-91 to 5-10-40. Richmond by 51 points. Plenty more to come from here. Don't worry about that. From McDonald's, Triple M Rocks Finals Footy.